Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and now I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. This is episode 368. In this episode, we're going to rank our top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, react to this weekend slate of NBA games, Celtics fourth quarter woes, if it's time to count out the Bucks, and Joel Embiid's eventual return. This is episode 368. How you guys doing, fellas?
We're calling that topic Celtics fourth quarter woes. It wasn't that in the doc.
That's just how I did the intro.
Okay. Catch you.
Because I feel like because the actual topic, for those that are wondering out there, the topic is Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum, who should be the man? Well, based on that answer, it could solve the fourth quarter woes.
There's been people who are saying Jaylen Brown should be the number one on the team.
Yeah, they're saying it's Jaylen Brown. It's his team. He's the supermax guy. He's $300 million, man.
He is.
How a joke can turn into a topic.
Yeah.
How a joke can turn into a topic, and I apologize for that.
Bring me back to the 2022 NBA Finals, man.
I say time is just we were having that conversation outside. Riv, time, it's a flat circle. It always comes back around.
Conversation outside.
Did you guys get fooled by anything with April Fool's first today or no?
I guess if we're going to count this, but I figured out almost immediately after I sent the tweet back. Brett James said that C.J. Stroud was by far and away the best quarterback in the AFC South, and I know he's a Jags guy. So I was just like, did you get hacked, bro? What are we talking about? Then I was just like, okay, this is April Fool's. That's it, though. Nothing else.
I did. Some kid said some shit to me. I was working, and some girl named Jessica, she was like, hey, Mr. River, can I ask you a question? So I was like, what's up? And she was like, she asked if I had a girlfriend. So I was like, no, why are you asking me that? She was like, well, I think you can get one. And I was like, oh, thank you. And she was like, April Fool's. And then
shit.
She ran off giggling. I just looked. I was just looking at her like, why you do that? Like, that was just like really unnecessary.
She caught you crazy.
And she cooked me. I was tired as hell, so I was aggravated when she said
that would hurt my feelings too.
It was like 9 a.m. I'm like, come on, bro.
That's not how you want to start your day.
That was pretty messed up.
Yeah,
I feel like I saw so many. I feel like everyone was trying this year.
It's over.
Man, I don't know. Maybe if I just don't remember.
You get to a certain age,
like everyone
it's
was just
over,
trying.
They're trying because
I was just so on it.
Now.
Everything I saw was like, this is probably fake. This is probably fake. It was just felt different.
People try because you can get money on Twitter now. That's what it is. They're interaction farming.
True.
I got fooled by a couple things today. I got fooled by two things. Very early in the morning, looked at my phone, went on Instagram. I followed this Packers account, and the picture was Joe Barry. And it was like Joe Barry's brought in to be the assistant GM to Brian Gutekunst. And I was like, what? Nah, no way. I was like, this is crazy. And then I was going to the comments, and it was like, yo, you almost got me. And I said, you got me, though. I said, fuck. So that shit caught me. Man, there was something else that caught me, too. I forgot what it was. I try to catch my my league players in CFM. I try to tell them that I accidentally simmed 10 years into the future.
Oh, okay.
And everybody didn't fall for it.
Yeah, 10 years is a bit much. One of the Broncos guys that I follow, he tweeted, I think it's Broncos 365. He tweeted that Russell Wilson's doing the right thing and restructuring his $85 million because he knew that he didn't live up to his contract. And there was a part of me I was like, I clicked it and then I read and it was just like, nah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But
was the Lakers one real? The Lakers account getting followed by Bron?
I actually don't know. I believe it because
that would be crazy.
Oh, unless they both lied on the same day. Because then the Lakers show he said that he got followed by LeBron. And then Bron Muse also said he got followed by LeBron. But the thing is, they're locked in. And LeBron will follow those types of accounts. So I don't know. I hope not. It is believable. It was too believable that I tweeted back at him. I was gassed.
You got to do a lot to get one of those guys to follow you, man.
Facts.
I'm still trying with Patrick Mahomes. I send him a DM every day, and I tell him, yo, bro, I love you as a football player. Can you please follow back?
Can I please see that?
Yo, you're a Glazer.
There's no way you actually
every
do this.
day? You just copy and paste the same message and send it every day?
Oh, no, yeah. At least that was my idea. I was starting at day 1, but then I didn't make day 2.
Congrats, big bro.
Big bro is crazy.
I'm gonna show this in the video, but Sunday, January 28th, I told Jess, I was talking to her in the living room, I said, I'm gonna try to get Patrick Mahomes to follow me back for real. So starting today, every day, I'm gonna try to reach out to him. So I was like, what's up, big bro? I'm a big fan. This is day 1 of DMing you until you follow me back. And then
Big bro, not crazy, Riff.
That shit's embarrassing.
he's older
bro.
than me. He's older than me.
Because what if,
Relax.
say when we get big, right?
We gonna get there. Be like, oh, this is big bro.
Yeah, we gonna look at him like, have you ever seen these before? Like, check your DMs. It's gonna be like, yo, big bro, what up? Like that's.
But then I
insane.
gave up. But then after he won Super Bowl, I messaged him Tuesday, February 13th. I said, congrats, big bro. You're the greatest player I've ever watched. My favorite player in the NFL. I was hoping now it's going to give me 5.
I'll be honest. I don't think Big Bro is so crazy. Like,
If I was talking to you don't know is crazy.
to a man you don't know, agreed.
You don't, bro.
Big bro is like somebody,
Especially unless he's
'cause my
like
example-
35 plus.
nah, bro, because like big bro's like Charles for you. That's big bro.
No, that's legitimately my brother.
yeah, but that's also like he gets the advice. You know, that's big. He mentors you. Like big bro is.
I was gonna say the example I was gonna give would be like Pee Wee. Like that's Big Bro. Like he's in the industry with us. That's like one of those guys that he's
Helps
older
us
than
out.
us.
Yeah,
He
like,
helps us out. For
that's
sure.
big bro.
That's Big Bro.
A big bro.
That you saying that he doesn't know? You kind of cooked at that one. But I understand what you were doing.
There's none that's too far-fetched to call Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my god! You said you're keeping it light.
Daddy?
It's none.
You weren't
Pops.
keeping it light.
Nah, I'm just guessing.
He's like 28.
Nah, we're around the same age. That's why Big Bro's appropriate in this
You don't
circumstance.
know him. That's the part I'm kidding.
I feel like I know him enough off of what I've seen him do on the field and how I see him act in the media.
He's
Okay.
cooking. I feel the same way about Tua.
How many interviews have you seen?
You don't call
Patrick
Tua a
Mahomes?
big bro.
No.
You call him your brother.
My tribal chief.
Yeah.
At least 50.
At least 50 interviews.
Yeah.
Follow that
Dehls.
one?
But I'm counting post-game interviews too, you know.
Dehls, which one is worse, tribal chief or big bro?
Big bro. Big bro's nuts. Big bro's nuts.
Tribal chief is essentially the same thing.
Nah,
Yes,
tribal
it
chief.
is.
That feels like a nickname.
He's
kinda
a chief
thing.
for everybody. I feel like big bro
Tribal
is just
chief,
one person.
tribal chief, and big bro. Like when you say big bro, you're acknowledging somebody is on the higher of the hierarchy than you. That's the same thing with tribal chief.
A chief is different.
So you're saying it's worse to call somebody big bro than essentially a king?
No, I said he said that.
I call everyone a king. I'm
you
sus.
do call everybody a king.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I know.
That's respect. You can't call everybody big bro. So it's like
I call Patrick Mahomes is the exception.
And why'd you lie to us? You said it every day. And then you
I was hoping and
did it.
praying to go and scroll.
I was really getting ready for it too.
Nah, I did lie about that because that's pretty crazy. I gave up after like the first day.
I respect it.
I just forgot about it.
Big
That's
bro
really
to
what
you.
happened.
So who else is like your big bro? Like outside of like family? Who do you consider big bros? If you don't consider nobody else big bro,
You have to go literally. I'll be honest. The only way out is for you to say everyone that's older than me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Bro,
Is Ant Edwards big bro?
I really
so we're
don't.
big bros?
No,
Nah, y'all not
and
big
Edwards
bros.
little bro. He's 22.
I know, but he might not have
He
no
thinks,
balance.
Yeah, nah,
he
nah.
thinks he's a man. Like,
Yeah.
Nah, Ant Edwards got the aura to him that you can't just little bro him. He's not a little bro.
So we have no aura with you.
No, it's not that. It's just Anthony. Y'all are older than me.
So if I called you little
Anthony
bro,
Edwards
is that
is-
rude?
So we a big
Yes,
bro?
that's rude. Huh?
So we a big bros?
I don't. The only people I consider my big bros is people that when I was growing up on the street that I used to play with when I was
Bro, you
really
called
young.
Mahomes big bro. We're not big
You
bro.
didn't grow up with him at all.
Huh?
You can
Y'all
call Mahomes big bro, but you can't call us big
Y'all
bro.
not the greatest football player of all time. y'all my friends. Y'all not my. It's not
We
big
all
bro.
older than you.
You're by a hair.
So you're
Dehls
telling
is
me
2 years older than you.
it's rude for us to say little bro to you? We're not making a height joke. You're younger than us.
No, little bro. Yeah, that's disrespectful because when you call somebody little bro, you essentially trying to act like you were a step above.
Patrick Mahomes call you little bro though.
He's definitely a step above me. He's the
Would
greatest football player
you
ever
would
walked.
you encourage?
Yo, this is crazy.
Would you encourage
This is
Mahomes
getting
to
worse
say
and
little bro?
worse.
Huh?
Would you encourage him to
I
call you
am
little
your,
bro?
I am your little bro.
encourage
I'm
him.
little
I
bro.
am your little
I'm
bro.
I would encourage him to call him my guy. My guy.
Respect that.
That-
And then
that's
you
what,
guys,
that's
could,
what I'm
you
on
guys
with
get
y'all.
on my guy, my brother type level after.
Yeah, obviously in person I'm not gonna call him big bro. That's just a joke.
Yo, what's good, big
But
bro?
in person, that's my guy.
Okay, I respect
that's why y'all my guys. Y'all
I
not
don't
my
know.
big
You
bros. Y'all my
he
guys.
daps up Mahomes in person. He goes.
He
boom.
might.
He goes,
Faint.
What up, big bro?
I feel like in
That's
order to
smooth.
call somebody a big bro, they gotta have a substantial age gap difference than you.
Okay.
I mean, Mahomes is what 27.
That's
20?
different. That's different.
He's just gonna keep saying
That
it.
no,
But
that's really different.
I don't know. Them you call Unk. I feel like everyone's Unk now. Not everyone's.
Nah,
big
old
bro.
heads is unk.
Old heads
they start
are-
calling me Unc.
Is there? Is
That
there?
No, like legitimately, like 12-year-olds call me unk. Like that's like that because we're like 15. 16, like, I'm like 15 years older than them. So.
I feel like 15 to 20 years plus older, that's unk. I feel like 5 to 10 year range, that's big bro. That's where you get into that big bro territory.
Nah, because my big bro now he only like 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So it's not even this. It's
How
just,
how did that dynamic happen?
It's just like he's always the guy.
How long have y'all known each other?
We've known each other about 7-8 years, but it's like it's not the age thing for me. It's more like how like he's my mentor. Like he's a guy who keeps me out of trouble. He like talks, but he gives me the
If
advice.
I called Bron Big Bro, y'all have an issue with that?
I would be more like
You call him king.
acceptable
It
to
really
that, yeah.
doesn't.
He is the king.
We've been
He is the
slurping
king,
him for
he
damn near
is.
20 years.
Is.
And that's
Mahomes only been here, what, 7 years? 7, 6? Yeah, it ain't a lot. You got decades in this.
I do.
Put in pain with LeBron.
7 years is close to a decade, though.
It is.
No, but that's 2 decades. That's 20 years, bro.
He ain't been room for LeBron for 20 years.
He 100% has been wrong for the
Damn near.
20 years?
He's been
Damn
in the
near.
league
It's
20
been
years.
21 years.
When did you become a Bron fan? Like, you watch basketball for real.
I'll
And
give
you
you
was watching
I'll give you
LeBron.
17
I was
years.
gonna say
then.
like 2007.
Okay.
So 17 years. 16.
That's closing in
I
on
mean,
it.
that's-
That's
Yeah.
closing on it. You're
You
right.
could take the 20 there.
So why can't I take the 10 with Mahomes at 7?
I'm
No,
fine.
because
no one's
you-
saying you can't. I don't
He
care.
wasn't in the league for 10. That's the problem here. He just wasn't in
Y'all
the
are
league.
rounding up his Bron years to 20, but I
Because-
can't round up Mahomes to
No,
10.
no, no. How many years?
It's 7 and 17.
How many years has Mahomes been in the league?
He's been in the league. This will be his 7th season.
You became a fan after the first year because he didn't even play.
You're right.
So that's 6 years. He's been a fan for about 16, 17. We're not even around it. It's just what he's been.
Real life, 17 years.
Yeah, like, so, you know.
I feel like my adult years matter more. He was watching him when he was like 8, 9.
He's been watching
That's
his whole
2007.
adult life. Plus
What do you
his
mean
whole
that?
life period. What are
Bro, you
talking
remember
about?
what you watch at 8, 9 years old? Like
Yes.
vividly?
You
Vividly?
want to know why I can say that? The answer is yes. 2004 Yankees Game 7 against the Red
Even
Sox.
if we do that. Even if we
Don't
do that.
don't lock me
No,
in.
no, no. Hold on,
That's
hold on.
2004.
This is how I want to get the answer to this question. What was the playoff run LeBron went on in 07? Who did he beat? Each round.
Oh my God.
You're cooked, buddy.
I
I know.
know he beat the Pistons.
It's a good question.
I know he beat the Pistons for sure.
It's the best one by far.
I mean, that's when he had 25 straight. I have to know that one. Lost to the Spurs in 4. Who'd he beat in the first 2 rounds?
You don't remember?
I don't.
Washington and the second team was the
Was it the Pistons?
Nets?
Was it the? I was thinking either the Nets. The Pistons obviously happened.
Wizards. It was the Wizards' first round, I believe. Then
I don't know if it was the Nets or not, though. I know for a fact the obvious one is the Pistons.
Joel, do you know?
The Pistons, the Spurs.
Okay, the 2 I named.
Riff said Washington.
That's all I know, though.
Riff said Washington.
So wait, you
I
asked
think
him the
Washington
question.
is. I think Washington.
Am I the only guy that
Washington
knew?
was the first round.
Let's find out.
The Nets
Pistons were the ECF.
I didn't want to say the Nets because I wasn't sure, and I would rather not say it.
Let's see. Maybe I did cook.
I know it was the Wizards for sure. That was 07, 06, 07.
the
That was when
Pistons-
I am
Arenas-
good at what
Yeah.
I fucking
The only
do.
lock
Nets
for
and
me.
Wizards?
Wizards,
Yes.
Nets, Pistons. I'm
Okay.
good at what I do.
I should have said the Nets. The Wizards, I would not
That was-
cross my mind.
Yep, it was a 4-2. They beat the Nets 4-2. I was on that team.
So you're about to get on his ass because he doesn't remember the
Bro,
first
I feel
round
like
of the
when you're
2007
watching something
playoffs.
at 7, 8 years old, you're not remembering it vividly.
Well,
That's why you don't have much of an attachment to the Celtics championship in 09. Oh, no, 08,
not
right?
as much.
I'll tell you what,
This team I
07
love. This team I love way more than that. team, with all due
07
respect
though,
to them.
I was locked in on baseball.
Okay.
07 I was locked. I mean, we went to the finals for sure,
Yeah.
but 07 I was locked in on baseball. A-Rod hit 54 homers that year. He was the MVP. We lost in the first round to Cleveland. That was what I was really locked in on. Losing in the first round was one of the biggest upsets that the Yankees have had in some time because A-Rod and Joe Girardi were both due for, or Joe Torre were both due for contracts, and that was the year A-Rod got 10 for 300.
I feel like I really started locking in 2010, 2011. Like where I really was watching the sport. That's
Big Jeremy Lin
for
shit.
football and basketball. Jeremy Lin happened, I think, a year after. I'm not sure. It wasn't the Knicks that got me into basketball. Though. It was the Lakers with Kobe in 2010, the NBA Finals.
To think, man, this could
That's
be
what got me
we
into
could
it.
be locked in.
No, we could have been for real, but
What year was you? 2010?
yeah,
What made you a Knicks fan then?
I decided between Carmelo Anthony. If he got traded to the Nets or the Knicks, that's the team I'm rooting for.
I respect it.
And and years later, you ended up being a fan of both.
Yeah, for real with James Harden coming
Wow.
in. Yeah, for sure. But I was always like, I got the
destined to
Nets.
be.
I got the New Jersey Nets posted right there.
But that was
If
New Jersey Nets at the time when you were deciding.
It was New Jersey Nets. If it was a Brooklyn Nets, I would have always been New York Knicks. But the Jersey attachment, nah, for real. Like if a team's in Jersey, I'm gonna root for that team. You know, the Nets just had to move away from Jersey. They still don't get seats.
I legitimately started like
They don't get
paying
button
attention
seats.
to ball in like 07, like 06, 07. That was legit. Because me and my brother used to be like talking about the Suns, Dallas. He used to be a Suns fan. I was just like a Darren Williams, Devin Harris fan.
07 was actually an elite year of sports. That was the year that the Patriots went undefeated, lost.
Facts.
That was the year that LeBron was LeBron. A-Rod was amazing.
Spurs won a chip, you could say that.
Yeah, Spurs did. Yeah, they swept LeBron. That was pretty
Except
big.
LeBron was LeBron.
Yeah, he just didn't. Yeah, that's cool, though.
It made a run. Good for him.
No, facts. At what, the age of 24, was he?
Same age as Tatum.
You know what D-Wade did at 24?
What do you do?
06.
He did.
Tatum at least won games.
Yeah. God forbid.
Every
Oh,
game
yeah.
was close,
Fucking-
I was
man.
like, LeBron's the loser in this one.
Right? That's what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaq.
Cool.
No, he didn't.
He did. 06.
Shaq ain't do much
Yeah.
in that series,
D-Wade.
though.
D-Wade averaged 36.
No, he was that guy. He was that guy.
No, he got Shaq in 10, I think, or 09, 10, one
No,
of the
he
two.
got it.
I'm talking
Before
about
that.
the Heat.
No, I'm saying Shaq.
Dwayne.
With
Shaq, we're
LeBron.
talking about
Talking
Oh,
about-
I thought we were talking about
yeah.
LeBron
No,
still.
You were killing me.
I was lost.
Shaq with LeBron was already washed.
No,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Done up.
Shaq played 20 seasons. I didn't know that. Should call me.
He played like
Dwayne did that
7 too
24?
many.
Dwayne did 24.
I believe he was.
I thought it was younger than that.
No, he came in at 21.
You're right,
22.
because he was he a sophomore?
Yeah, sophomore or junior. But he stayed a little bit in college.
No, D-Wade definitely carried that series. I feel as if the Suns, though, in that time frame, if they didn't make the Shaq trade, they probably could have been better. Because their offensive identity was pace and space, and Shaq didn't kind of, embody that at all. I feel like if they got somebody that wasn't Shaq, they probably could have propelled them to maybe compete.
Then they traded Amari. And
They
went to
should have traded for
WCF,
Jermaine
right?
O'Neal.
No, they had Amari.
That was Amari son too?
Wait, you say who?
Jermaine O'Neal.
I think at that time he was already done. I think like after like 05, he was pretty much like this.
Somebody significant.
Well, I remember that 04
below
season.
level
Wasn't
starter.
he amazing?
He was. He had some all-star years with the Pacers. The Malice in the Palace ruined his reputation. He went to the Heat, and with the Heat, he was very mediocre. It was up and down. Wasn't an all-star anymore. But yeah, with the Suns, they had a great team. They went to the conference finals in 09, and they lost to the 2010,
10.
I think. Yeah, 2010,
Yes,
yeah. 09-10 season.
They went in 06 too.
Yeah,
And
and they lost to
went
the
back to
Lakers.
Back. 05, 06, they went back to back. I think they lost to San Antonio.
It's crazy how much you get forgotten if you don't win.
Steve Nash, but he won MVPs back to back and went to the WCF. I think that's, for me, that's cool. Especially if you playing like the Spurs or you're playing like the Lakers. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're clearly the worst team of those two.
Yeah, like by far. For sure.
So before we get into the episode, a quick word from Prize Picks. So if you go to Prize Picks and use code PAS, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100 in Prize Picks. They got a ton of different things you can do on the wrap. They have a lot of different plays. If you want to put a play on the NBA, you can do it on points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made, sometimes even dunks. With the NFL, they have a bunch of specials for the NFL season and season-long plays with all the top quarterbacks, the running backs, receivers that left in free agency. So if you're interested in any of that, you can go to the App Store, download Prospects, and use code PAS for a 100% deposit match up to $100. The playoffs are nearing in the NBA, and every single weekend is pivotal to the importance of what seeding is going to look like. I feel like this weekend brought a lot of clarity to how the playoffs might look. Just some teams I want to name that had a great weekend or some moments, and you guys can piggyback off that.
Okay.
Of course, the Mavericks going 2-0, and if you count Thursday, they beat the Kings twice. They beat the Rockets, who were on a 10-game win streak. They are now the 5th seed in the West. The Clippers went 2-0. We're struggling. They have found their stride a little bit. Jalen Brunson's 60-point game was overshadowed by Wemby's 40-point and 20-rebound game, and the Spurs also won. SGA hit a game winner on the Knicks
J-Dub hit
on
the
Sunday.
shot before that too.
J-Dub was
He was
spectacular.
the best player in that.
And Luka had 47 against the Rockets, and he started out with like 22 in the first.
He almost didn't play.
He almost
Old
didn't
heads.
Yeah, it
LeBron
was
and
close.
PG had 40 this weekend too.
LeBron goes 9 for 10, tying his career high in most threes in a game.
He was
Gotta
one of
show
the
the old
most
heads some
efficient.
love.
I saw. I
Yes,
forgot
it was
what
like
that was.
16 shots.
Wasn't it like a
Yeah.
128?
I think it might be like the fourth most efficient game of all time. For
Shout out to the
scoring
old
40.
heads, man.
He's crazy.
What I was going to talk about, obviously, knew we would talk about Dallas. You mentioned it. Jalen Brunson and Victor Wembanyama going head-to-head. 61 points in a losing effort is tough. And Victor being just a unicorn. I really mean this, and I think the world understands this already. He's a million times better than we anticipated. I don't think we anticipate. I say this and I get goosebumps because honestly, I love seeing people live up to the hype. And he has been so much better than I was anticipating. I was expecting him to average 20 points this year, be a solid rebounder. I was not expecting him to already be arguably the best defender in the game. Like him already making that impact felt so immediate. Him processing the game. And people have tweeted this jokingly, but it's not a joke. He has had so many, just multiple moments in the season where he has progressed. You can pinpoint each spot of the season where we've seen him take another leap and another leap to get to where we are at this current point of the season. To start the year, people were saying, oh, Chet Holmgren, it's not over. We have the real competition for Rookie of the Year because Chet started so efficiently, and he was struggling from the field. I think that's when he was shooting like 41 and 30% from the field. But then as the season's gone on, you see the defensive impact, not just blocked shots, but stealing, getting his hands in the lane, being this efficient finisher at the rim, but his ability to shoot off the dribble. I mean, he legitimately is more than I ever imagined he could be already in year one. And to think this is the worst he's ever going to be. I say this every time we talk about him, but it's scary to think how soon until we are hands down saying he's the best in the game. I feel like that question is a little bit more loaded because we are blessed with so much talent. Jokic still has some years. You still have to respect Luka. You have to respect Giannis. And this guy was hurt for a majority of the season. I know he's not in competition for best in the game, but he was on his way for 2 MVPs. I'm talking about Joel Embiid. I mean, there is so much talent in this league right now, but he really legitimately can be in this conversation, and we're only in year one.
I think when you're looking at players of his trajectory, so guys like MJ, guys like Luka, you can even,
Say LeBron.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That's what I was blanking on. Guys
Say
like
big
LeBron.
bro.
Guys like LeBron.
You can just say the king.
They get into best player in the world conversations by year 3.
Yeah.
So that's what that's what you should be expecting from Wemby. Year 3, year 4, MJ was best player in the conversation probably by year 3. LeBron year 3. Who am I missing? Luka, about year 3, he was getting that comfortability, that talk, especially after the playoffs.
Yep.
So I think
Victor.
Victor.
I say Giannis and Jokic both. Where Jokic got it a little bit sooner in terms of.
Yeah, but they didn't have the same hype, is what I'm saying.
Oh no, gotcha.
They didn't have the same hype. With Victor, these are the guys who are getting the same hype. Even a guy like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was probably best player in the world year 1, year 2. So I think to expect that from Victor, you definitely should be thinking about it year 3, year 4.
Fair enough.
I might as well continue.
Yeah.
I completely.
I thought you were going to continue. I'm sorry. That was a sudden stop for me.
I know why I messed up. We here though. We're back. So yeah, just to talk about. You mentioned a couple things this weekend. The Kings lost 2 in a row. Unfortunately, hate to see that happen. Malik Monk also probably going to be out for some time. Maybe out for the rest of the year. You don't know. It was heartbreaking. I think he's made a comfortable case though, where he doesn't have to play another game to be 6 man a year. I think he's just been that good. Shout out to Malik. He's gonna get a bag this summer for sure. It's gonna be interesting to see if he stays in Sacramento to play with Mike Brown. Somebody has kind of not reinvented his career, but definitely helped him get to this point.
Malik was really good with the Lakers.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to give it to that definitive Kings, but definitely turn them into a better player.
Or maybe
him and
the
Fox.
King.
Yeah,
maybe it was the King.
Nuts. But him and Fox have been great in the backcourt. Kings, Dallas. Shout out to Dallas. They needed those wins. Those were important wins, especially throughout the season this year and the way it's piling up. You got these West teams that are going to be really good. 2 things I do want to touch on a little bit. One under the radar thing, and then of course you mentioned a little bit just the Clippers picking up 2 wins that they desperately needed, especially 2 wins in the clutch. You had the Philly game. I'm pretty sure that wasn't this weekend, but we were recording that Wednesday night, Thursday night.
That was the Kelly Oubre game.
Kelly Oubre game. Clippers were down pretty much most of the game. Fourth quarter they hit a timeout, came out starting to tighten up. Kawhi took over the game, and then against the Magic, a tough game. You had PG playing terribly. You had Harden kind of being, whatever. Fourth quarter, they lose the lead. The Magic go up 4 or 5 points or something like that. And then you see both players, Kawhi and PG, take over the game, hit the game winners. That's just something you want to see from a team that has been struggling. Going into the playoffs, they got a tough schedule coming up. I think a couple good home games, but a tough slate. I think they got the Suns twice. And they play a couple other good teams, great teams, playoff teams. So this is definitely some rhythm you want to get into. You play Orlando, one of the best defenses in the league, in a hobbling Philly game, in a hobbling Philly team, but you needed that win because you were down most of the game. And then my under the radar thing is, you mentioned Victor Wembanyama. He gets all the credit in the world. I want to talk about a different rookie, Trace Jackson Davis. I definitely want to talk about him because you mentioned defense. I think he's been a great defender for a rookie this year, and I think somebody who is good at picking his spots, good at positioning, good as a help side rim protector. He's been, when him and Dre played defensively, they've been incredible. The way Trace has been able to handle being in space. He's played Wemby twice now that I've watched, and he's impressed me both times just by, being not overwhelmed with the size, but being able to do something offensively in terms of just rolling, having this really good ability to catch the ball with both hands pretty cleanly, being able to catch it in air, being just in the right position, rolling perfectly, making the next extra pass. So just his improvement. He was a 3-4 year player coming out anyway, so you expected him to be NBA ready. I just hate the fact that Kerr played him so late. I'm glad he's get another blunder, by the way, but I'm glad he's getting his minutes now, and he's going to be great for this team down the road.
Great rim runner. That's another thing about his game that I really like, and I feel like as I've watched Warriors games, I feel like the guy who's most comfortable with Trace, ironically, is Clay.
Yep.
I feel like Clay, to a fault, kind of sees him too much, where Clay has a shot, he kind of tosses up to Trace, but they have a great connection, but Trace has been to the point where we jokingly talk, is Trace Jackson Davis the Warriors' third best player? Like, that's how good he's been, obviously jokingly. But he's definitely been a top 5 player for the Warriors.
Jokingly or not?
Nah. Got to respect Dre. Dre just had a great game
Dre too.
last night. Yeah, for sure. He should be, too.
Dre's going to question, too.
Number 3 is probably Jonathan Kuminga.
That can vary.
Yeah.
I think that third spot can always vary.
And then 4th, honestly.
No, it would just be them 2. It doesn't vary after that.
That's fine.
5 is Clay. Cool.
Night in, night out. He's number 5.
Wiggins fell off.
Oh God!
Yeah,
drop Clay.
True.
Sorry, I don't know. Those 2 are the ones that are like it varies. And I didn't.
Sometimes AirPods has exceptional games.
Oh God, I haven't seen a
watching
game in a long
watching
time.
AirPods take that shot against the Spurs, where Curry does not touch the ball on that essentially last possession for the Warriors. This was last night against the Spurs, and Pod just lets it go from at least what seemed like 28.
It was in and out.
For some,
It was in and
I
out.
saw it in the air. I said, "Wait a minute, is this going in?" But why is Curry not touching the ball on that last possession? Just makes no sense.
They talk a lot about Clay going to the bench, but we really haven't talked a lot about AirPod's kind of lack of
Not going to the bench.
involvement in
He
the
has
offense,
the
or just
insane leash.
struggling
Like,
when he is starting.
It's crazy.
How are you feeling? Knicks had 2 back-to-back. I said game of the years. That Spurs game where Brunson was off for 60, and you have the Wemby game where he throws the ball into the stands at the end. He got a nice
fine,
25K or 25K fine at the end. And then last night's game against the Thunder. SGA has been back from injury last few games. He hasn't quite looked like himself yet. Even still, not at probably 100%, still dealing with that injury. He hit the turnaround jumper last night over Deuce McBride, and it looked like prime SGA. But Jalen Williams, we've continued to talk about him. Basically, I feel like almost every month we have new updates about Jalen Williams, and it feels like he's just getting better and better. Obviously, he's in year 2, so not as much from like his rookie year to he is now, but he's so much better now than he was even at the beginning of the season when we were having the conversations with like Jaylen Browns. And that was kind of the top end. We had like Brandon Ingram's in there too. But he's shown on a couple different nights when SGA either hasn't been playing or he's been hurt, like this game against the Knicks. He could step up and be that guy, and he could give you a super efficient 30-plus points. And as the playoffs kinds of near, or as we get nearer to the playoffs, I feel like there's some teams that I feel stronger now. The 2 that come to mind, one is the Dallas Mavericks. I think we're all probably thinking of them as one of the tougher teams in the West. But the other one's the Los Angeles Lakers.
Talk to me.
Of course, I'm not going to sit here and gas up a win against the Nets, but if LeBron James and Anthony Davis have made it this far throughout the season, they're healthy. LeBron's legs look fine to me. If he's out there giving one of the most efficient games in NBA history we've seen, when they play top teams this year, they've beaten them. They have some of the most, I think they're top 5 or top 10 in wins against top 10 teams in the NBA. So when they go up and face top competition, they usually show up. They do have some moments that I'm not going to sit here and just ignore against,
Game against the Pacers. We can talk about that one. Yeah.
Just we had on Friday. But still, if LeBron and AD are going to be playing like that, and they've showed the ability to beat these top-level teams, and the play-in, I feel great about them. And as long as they don't face Denver in the first round, I feel pretty good if they have to go up against an injured Timberwolves team. Last thing I want to say, the Eastern Conference play-in tournament. The Bucks right now have a 2.5 game for the 2 seed. But when we're looking at the play-in, the 7 and 8 seed, the 3 teams in competition, realistically, the Pacers, the Heat, and the 76ers. But why that's important is because the 7-8 are going to play each other to get that 7 overall spot. So there's a strong chance that the Milwaukee Bucks at the 2 seed are going to be playing the Heat or the 76ers in the first round. And with Joel Embiid potentially back, we're going to talk about him a little bit later. The way the Bucks are playing under Doc Rivers, we're going to talk about that as well. I don't feel great about Milwaukee in those series.
I don't feel good about Philly if you're getting a Embiid that's rusty as hell.
Don't talk about it. Don't blow your load too soon. We're going to talk about it later.
He's supposed to come back. The return is imminent, is what they said.
Yeah,
he's coming back
Apparently
this week. If he gets 2 weeks in, I mean, obviously we don't know how he looks, but he gets 2 weeks in, that's better than bringing him back game 1 in the playoffs.
We'll talk about it.
Good job.
We'll talk about it.
You mentioned how I felt about the game winners and us losing to the Spurs and OKC. It's easy. I felt like we should have won both games. I feel like both games we should have won.
Yeah.
The Spurs versus the Spurs, we just couldn't hit shots down the stretch. And, all our players are playing 40-plus minutes tonight. Everybody is so tired down the stretch. We need some more production from our bench. And then against OKC, I kind of felt comfortable in that game. It's a low-scoring game. I think our defense
you guys were up for the
really
first,
showed out.
Basically the first 3 quarters, you had a pretty comfortable lead.
We were. It's just another thing where we couldn't hit shots, and Jalen Brunson missing that shot that would have been a game winner. He got to hit those.
Tough look though.
It was a tough look for SGA. He hit it. Like Jalen Brunson just got to hit those shots, and
he hit the shot before though. It's unfortunate because I think that SGA hit a very tough shot on good defense. You tip your cap to SGA. But again, you can't forget that Brunson did give you the lead. Your guys just had to get a stop.
We're not going to forget his incredible game, but we're going to forget about it ultimately because they lost.
Yeah,
they lost.
You're right.
We got to win those games.
I agree.
And that's why the Cavs went up on us in the standings. We got to win those.
But 61 points in a loss, too. It's like this guy,
down
Jalen, is
most of the
doing
game, though.
everything that he
he
could.
came back.
But against the Thunder, again, DiVincenzo, who's been pretty money, 4 for 18 from the field. You mentioned your
It
bench.
sounds like I need to get healthy.
That's really what we come back to. But you're right, the bench, the fact that Alec Burks, Bogdanovich played under 15 minutes, both of them.
They've been underwhelming since the deadline.
But it's speaking to what Riv's ultimate point is. You need OG back. You need Randall back. So then these guys, Deuce and probably Dante will stay in the starting lineup. He has to. But now they're playing less minutes, and when they come in and it's their time in the rotation, now they're ready to go and they have some life.
If you get OG, Mitch, Julius back, you have them 3. Then you have Brunson, you have Hartenstein, you have Dante.
Yeah, Hartenstein's playing
missing
40
somebody.
minutes.
Deuce. That's a calm 7-8 lineup that you could just live with.
No, we talk about the depth of the Knicks all the time. It's just a matter of getting Mitch, Randall, and OG back before the playoffs start, and we don't know if that's happening.
Honestly, the depth's obviously going to be important, but in the playoffs with Tibbs, I don't know how much he's going to really tap into that depth.
I don't think Deuce will get a lot of run.
He could get it.
He's not going to get 40 minutes.
Deuce deserves at least 25.
That's like Tibbs is not a play a lot of guys type of vibe.
Deuce for the last month and a half.
He's been
Josh Hart played 48 minutes the other day.
He always plays.
Bro,
Yeah, he doesn't need to.
Listen to the minutes that they played yesterday against OKC alone. Give me 1 second. I know for a fact because I mentioned already that Alec Burks and Bogdanovich both played under 15 minutes.
I don't think Burks will play in the playoffs.
Hartenstein played 29. Brunson played 35. McBride played 46.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Josh Hart played 45, and Dante played 40. What?
Listen, I understand that you probably would want these guys to be well rested for the playoffs. I'm also not mad at him playing these guys a lot of minutes because it's building up their conditioning for a playoff environment. Because this is what the playoffs are going to be like.
It is. But I feel like that's where we go back.
Tough.
It's
Josh Hart's been doing this shit for half the year.
But also, we need them to play that much to win these games.
But
then playoff time they get drained.
But that's exactly why I worry about this, and I'm hoping that OG, Randall, and Mitch do come back because
Mitch has been back.
The 7-8 man rotation is essentially what the NBA playoffs are all about. And this Bogdanovich playing 11, Burks playing 12, Achua playing 22. I feel like his minutes will drop, especially if Mitch is going to be back on a consistent basis, given how Hartenstein's been amazing for you guys this season. But then McBride's not having to play these 40 minutes. And Josh Hart also at the same fact, too, because then you have OG probably playing around 30, Randall playing 30, more than 30, but same thing with Randall. And I think that with the big minutes, they'll fluctuate because Hartenstein has been so great. But then you don't have to have Hartenstein playing almost 30 minutes, too. And then that's huge on that side, too. The biggest thing with the Knicks has always been health. And the fact that neither OG or Randall can be back. Or I know OG came back, but obviously is hurt again. I don't know how much confidence I can have in this New York Knicks team without those two guys.
You were talking about Wemby earlier, and it goes hand in hand with what the Kings are going through right now, because the Kings lost Malik Monk for the season, essentially for the season. He's probably not going to be back. Mm-hmm. He's going to get a bag this offseason, and I feel like the burning question with the Kings is, will they be able to retain Malik Monk? Not do they want to, it's if they will be able to, because of the contract they signed him to 2 years ago. It was a 2-year, $19 million deal. They can only give him so much of a raise. That raise can go up to $17.4 million annually. That maxes out to 4 years, $78, $79 million. Malik Monk coming off a $6 man of the year, he could definitely demand more on the market. I think he can demand maybe up to $24, $25 million a year.
And that comes to Malik's mindset. Do you want to take the 24 with a team like Detroit that looks like hell? A team like the
San Antonio.
What if it's the Spurs, though?
Then that would be the one. Houston, no, I don't think they'll have that much money because they pay.
I like the Spurs idea. I think Malik Monk with the Spurs, his improvement as a playmaker, the 2-man game with Wembanyama, giving them a perimeter score, Devin Vassell, Malik Monk, because I also think like Malik Monk, he's coming off the bench right now. I don't know if he's satisfied with that role, because I was reading an article from The Athletic, and Malik Monk said that he wants to start, and the Spurs would be the perfect spot for him to be a starter. He could start there. He could start at the 2. He could kind of be a tweener.
But then you're back if you're San Antonio, and this is no slight to Malik, you're back in the same problem that you have, that, hey, we need a true one, a real playmaker that can be somewhat of an offensive threat, scoring the basketball. And that's not Trey Jones.
I mean, yeah, that's where Trey Young comes into play.
Okay, I like that. If they could finesse Topic, that'd be firm.
They'll probably have a top 4
You could sign Malik, and you could still do whatever. You're still gonna have draft picks.
They have so much money.
Backcourt of Trey Young and Malik is nasty.
Let me ask you a question.
They don't have to get Trey Young, though.
If the Spurs get the number 1 overall pick, do they take Topic or do they take Sarr?
Sarr and Victor is kind of crazy.
Would they complement each other?
I don't know.
No. I only ask that for the fact
Sarr's like Jaren. So
okay,
like in a sense where he's not a 5.
Okay, can he space on a consistent basis?
I wouldn't say consistent, but the potential is there.
Okay, I say
maybe the guy I don't know how to say his name,
because I know Topic can play make. I know he can finish at the basket. His jump shot is what needs work. So I asked that would he go 1 to the Spurs because they have an obvious need at the 1.
They go Rob
Dillingham, really? Yeah. I won. It's not crazy.
Why do they just have to get a point guard?
Adjust the 1? Because I feel like you want to put Victor in his spots. If you just picked up Malik,
you picked, let's say hypothetically that happened. So you picked up Malik
Monk.
Good move. You still have Malachi Branham off the bench at the 2. You have Devin Vassell, who's locked in for the starting 3 spot. So you essentially, what you're missing, I mean, you have Zach Collins, who's a cool backup. Victor, Jeremy, you're still probably invested in because he's a Greg Popovich guy. Keldon Johnson will probably still be there. So now you're essentially, the only thing that's lacking is really the point guard position.
It is lacking, but I don't know if you address it by overdrafting a player that it doesn't fit.
But I don't think Nikola Topic is a reach.
Because with me, I just feel like there are probably better prospects. And
Topic is going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he will. But
better prospects.
I feel as if with the Spurs, they don't have to trap themselves into a point guard with the top 10 pick. Because I look at somebody like Dalton Connect, who played for Tennessee, just yesterday in the tournament. What he can do off dribble handoffs with Wemby, and just how he can be in the offense. No, I'm not saying he's a point guard, but I'm saying just adding a certain skill set to an offense and to a team. You look at Mataz Buzelis, who's in the G League.
You can take him at 1.
Ron Holland.
But then where are you playing him?
Well, they'll earn their spot. But I think that you have to take the most talented players.
Here's the thing, though. Buzelis, he might not be the most talented player. You don't know who's the most talented player at 1. That's why the 1 is tricky, because it could be Sarr may be the most talented at 1, but now if you're the Spurs, do you really want to take him? Rob has been getting hyped at the 1. Klingon is now getting pushed up to top 3 talks, potentially 1. That wouldn't make sense. So the most talented for this draft is just so tough. Where if you're the Spurs, you're not you're in a rush to compete, but you're not in this insane rush. And if you just paid Malik Monk, I don't think bringing in Dalton, because where's Dalton going to play now? Where's Malik going to play?
Just come off the bench.
Yeah, but see, now you got Malik starting, you got Branham. You still are missing that point guard spot. Like, you're still missing a point guard off the bench or start.
I know, but I don't think that spot has to be addressed by the draft per se.
And Dalton, if you pick Dalton at 1, you're reaching back.
I was going to say, and
I mean, I'm not saying they're getting the first overall pick. I'm just saying
but this is
with the top 10 draft pick.
Well,
but they're going to have a top 5.
Yeah, we don't know.
They're the worst team right now in the Western
Conference. They'll have the
Conference.
Hawks pick, right, this year?
That too?
Yes.
So I say that with Topic, I mentioned he struggles shooting the basketball. That's definitely his weak point. With Victor on the court, he's going to be able to still drive to the basket. He's already an efficient finisher. With Victor, now his strength can still be utilized. And obviously, as time goes on, he will work on his jump shot inevitably. But he's still a great playmaker, which is why I don't look at it as a strong reach, because that's your biggest need right now. And Nikola Topic is still a great prospect who probably is going to be, at worst, in my opinion, a top 5 pick. And really what it all comes down to is who's going to benefit my franchise, one of the faces of the league, future faces of the league, and Victor Wembanyama the most. And right now, that probably is Topic.
I'd like to get a vet there. If I'm the Spurs, I mean, this best case scenario, if you could get a vet there too, because to me, Wemby's ready to win. Like, Wemby's good enough. We just had this conversation.
Yeah.
He's one of the best defenders in the league already. I would rather, just so you don't put yourself in position of, we want to address our number one need and kind of this is our main focus, then you kind of let everyone know that.
Bringing on Monk, I'm with.
Because with the rookies, it's just so much boom or bust. Because
I would still want a more true one than Monk.
Yeah, of course, but Malik Monk is at least.
Are you saying get a veteran point guard?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. I think that's a great idea too, because with Malik Monk, that's a guaranteed with more usage and uptick in usage. That's a 20 and 6 a night next to Victor Wembanyama, who can take over games on the perimeter. I've seen him do it for Sacramento. So that is a huge addition, and I feel like a team like that, more so than the Pistons or another team that has cap space, I believe,
I'm looking at it right now,
is the Sixers. I feel like a team like the Spurs more so would take the gamble on Malik Monk, just getting some proven talent with Wemby, and Malik Monk is only 26 years old.
The Spurs also have the Raptors' top 6 protected pick.
Ooh, so they might have 2 top. I mean, you're gonna have to take a guard. You're gonna have to do it. So the veteran move is cool. Here's the problem.
I mean,
they don't have the Hawks pick.
They're gonna take draft picks.
They have the Hawks pick.
The problem with the vet pick is I looked up the 2024 upcoming free agent tracker. So far, it's not pretty. It's Kyle Lowry, D'Lo, Markelle Fultz, Tyus Jones is cool. Pat Bev, Monte Morris. This is just, as of right now, Spencer Dinwiddie. So,
not great free agents.
I mean, right now I feel like Trey Jones has been starting for them, and
he's
not terrible.
Nah, he's cool.
Trade market too, though.
He's more of a.
I mean, that's where we talk about Trae Young.
Yeah, but I feel like if
does LaMelo Ball become available? I mean, listen, there's players that could
you
possibly be out
LaMelo,
there, and you're putting together some
that's
nice.
The move.
You're taking
Trae's
some
cool.
nice San Antonio.
6'7". You pair him.
You
with
have
Victor.
picks. You could.
LaMelo
Would you
just
give
can't
up?
stay healthy.
Would you give up?
Yes.
Hypothetically, number one pick for LaMelo.
This one,
Yeah.
I would give up both these top 5. Okay. Both of if Victor comes to me and I'm the Spurs GM, y'all want to win. Hold on. Call Charlotte on the phone. I'll give you these 2. Say, for example, we get the Raptors pick, so we have 5 and 1. You can have these. You can take these, and you can take the 3rd pick. You can take these 3.
You're giving the Hawks 2025
Johnson for money to make it work. Give me LaMelo. I'll even throw in next year's Hawks pick. Take that. Give me LaMelo, and I'm fine.
And you got him. You got Vassell. I mean, yeah.
Now we're talking something.
And you would still have picks. You would still have your first next year.
The
You could keep
kicker
the Hawks.
is LaMelo's like 23 years old.
then what
Super
happens
young.
when LaMelo only plays 30 games?
I was gonna say, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited in hearing you talk about LaMelo go to the Spurs. But that's just the unfortunate truth, though.
But you're
talking
talking
a gamble.
Put him in an organization.
But you're talking. This isn't just a gamble.
Proven organization,
Sounded crazy
proven
for a
winning
second.
organization. What if he gets there and listen? He's not going to play 80 games, but he consistently gives you 60 to 70 games a year, and he's healthy for the playoffs.
When was the last time he played 60?
We're hoping Porzingis this year.
2021,
He's pushing 60.
And
The last 2
knock on
seasons,
wood.
LaMelo has played 22 games and 36.
Listen, but that year that he played the over 60, he was an all-star.
Last year, I feel like they shut him down early. To be fair, he's taken a Charlotte Hornets team to the play-in twice.
The team hasn't been garbage around.
The team started winning when LaMelo started starting, though. That was the thing.
But the team was all right. It wasn't terrible.
It was mid. I'm not going to go back and forth with you how good the team was. It was a bunch of mid.
The team last year was pretty ass.
Oh, but they didn't do anything last year. Talking about 2
The
years
Hornets
ago.
are signing?
Oh, what do you mean? The year that
LaMelo's
Both
rookie year and his second year when they
Yes.
made the play-in.
No, for sure.
I feel like those teams were solid.
But
They were solid.
I wouldn't say solid, but my point is,
Like playing solid. I'm not talking about like, top 16.
They're
cool.
playing team.
My point
Like
is,
Bulls solid, which y'all are right now.
no, we're better. But you put LaMelo.
He's right.
No, we're better.
It's maybe by hair.
No, it's not by.
No,
we just beat
yeah.
Minnesota.
No, you're just
Respect us.
gassing.
You
the
used to
Bulls
beat
right now.
Minnesota twice.
You
this
did
year,
just
right?
lose to the Nets, though.
Who cares about that win? It's all about the ones that matter.
Okay.
But you put LaMelo with the Spurs, that Spurs team probably becomes better by far than that Charlotte team.
Maybe it's just me, but I don't want the Spurs to rush this. They don't have to.
You thought they would make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So what do you mean?
That-
you
no,
don't?
no, easy.
Trading for
Two
LaMelo
different
Ball
arguments.
is trading
Two
for LaMelo
different
Ball is not
arguments.
rushing it.
No, but if you think Victor is that, my point is, if you think Victor is
But they
that
didn't
good,
make the
no, I'm
playoffs.
saying, look, my point is,
Or
if you
playing.
think Victor is that
Victor
good,
is that
so
good.
he can take you to the play in a bad Spurs team that we thought would be that bad. Why are you not thinking? No, we need to start making moves now. Like we need to start.
Well, what's
figuring
there to
this
win
out
on?
Especially
now.
because that DeJounte trade blessed them as much as they did. Those Hawks picks are going to be good. They are valuable. You can use those picks to give them back to Atlanta to go get Trae Young. You can use those picks to go and get a LaMelo Ball. I think you're right. In the perfect world, LaMelo stays healthy. He is a better matchup with Victor Wembanyama because of the sheer size. But for a safety blanket, given the fact that we already know what Trae Young is, you put Trae Young in that scenario where it may
I'm cool
cost
with
you
either.
a little bit. No, either is going to be cash.
Yeah, I'm cool
But
with
I
either.
say if I had to choose one,
Yeah, you take the
you
healthy
take
guy.
the safety or the safety blanket where Trae's still young. Trae's been an All-Star multiple times. Well, I think it is multiple time All-Star. He's been in the playoff setting. He's been amazing in a playoff setting. And you're pairing him now with one of the future faces of the game.
And Wemby's not getting paid.
He's not.
You don't have to pay Wemby for 4 years.
But I just feel as if I look at all the teams that are playing really well at the top.
But is trading Trae for Trae Young? I'm sorry to interrupt you. But is trading for Trae Young and LaMelo rushing it?
I think it is rushing it because LaMelo Ball is a different case
Mm-hmm.
because LaMelo Ball, his trade value is much lesser than Trae Young's.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to give up less to go get LaMelo Ball
For sure.
But there is an injury factor with LaMelo
100%.
that you have to consider.
Most definitely.
With Trae Young, it's the assets management that you have to consider. I think trading your picks for the next 4 or 5 years for Trae Young when the Spurs talent all around isn't up to par yet, and it would be a mistake. I don't see anything wrong with drafting players around Wemby and letting these players grow with him, drafting well, developing, and then signing a vet, 1 or 2 vets or 3 in there to kind of accelerate a little bit like the Rockets did with their team.
But
Because there isn't a chance you'll get a player of LaMelo or Trae Young's caliber if you sit there and wait. That's the thing. If you have an opportunity, so in LaMelo's obviously they both have concerns. LaMelo more because of the injury.
Well, if you're
concern.
drafting in the top 5, top 10, you're expecting a high level starter.
Yeah,
all-star.
but you're 100%. But you have an opportunity to get stars right now.
And also, trading for Trae Young makes free agents more inclined to sign with San Antonio.
I don't think that. No,
With
I don't know
Trae
about
and
that part.
Wemby?
No.
I think Wemby by himself is making me look
I
at San
think
Antonio
players-
like I'm going over
Trae
there.
and
Trae or
Wemby
not.
Just say Wemby, and it's like
Players ain't even
That's
go
what
to
I'm saying.
Players ain't even go to sign San Antonio when they had a dynasty going on
They never
they
really
really
went
didn't.
to
I was
the
gonna
game.
say,
the game. That was
they never really
drafting,
went to the game.
developing.
because they always.
They had
developed
Tim Duncan,
homegrown.
Tony Parker.
No, but
I
I'm
don't
saying like, even with Tim Duncan, like nobody ever was saying I want to go to play with the Spurs with Tim Duncan. Like nobody
I think
said that.
Wemby and Tim Duncan are different.
I don't think you have to change your.
I think what matters more is the market. That's what matters more. It's the
Yeah,
market.
San Antonio's not the best
I was
market
going
in
to
the
say,
world.
but Texas, it
but
is
that- but
tax free.
teams like that,
State
they make
tax-free.
moves via trades.
I think teams like the Spurs develop, and I think that's what they should do with Wemby. They should
I don't
develop
think they're gonna
around him.
do that. You can't.
And
You're not
even-
gonna luck up on
and
Tony
even
Parker
getting-
again.
It's a different game now.
I don't think so.
If Wemby was
Why
just
is it
a
different?
regular number 1 overall pick, or not even regular, just a great number 1 overall pick, I would get you because your best player's not going to be ready to get to that level yet. Wemby next season could legitimately be on a team, like if he had the right supporting cast, that could carry you in the playoffs.
How
I
many
think.
teams in the last 10 years have been bought, not built?
Suns.
We're just saying to make
That
a trade.
have won a championship.
Oh, none. Golden State. I guess Kevin Durant. You could say
KD,
was bought.
yeah.
The
Miami
Lakers.
big three, or
Miami.
yeah,
The Lakers.
Lakers,
Cavs. Will we say they're bought?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And then the Lakers.
true, facts because LeBron went back.
Yeah. In the West, if you specifically talk about the West, OKC, they went no.
Nuggets is built.
Nuggets built. Warriors, you would say the first stint built, second stint built. That's pretty much it.
Would you say that Trae Young's better than Jamal Murray?
Oh God.
I think so.
I would also say yes.
And the Nuggets have won a championship without having a Trae Young level player, but they got the guy.
They also had the most fortunate moment in their history by
luck,
drafting. Yes,
You talk about luck.
correct. Drafting Nikola Jokic in the second
Like
round.
even the Spurs, bro. Like it's luck.
that they got Victor Wembanyama now, though.
Yeah, but
That was 1-1.
All right, here's the
But
thing.
Victor Wembanyama, but to me, it doesn't matter about the luck factor or not because ultimately, we all believe Wembanyama can be the best player in the world.
But year one, Victor, like we were anticipating him to come in and be great. Jokic being what he is surprised the entire world.
But that's not the conversation here. The conversation is that we've seen a team.
But there was no
Bill-
reason to speed up the Nuggets timeline because Jokic wasn't proven to be this superstar.
I would kind of disagree because
in
he
year
went
one
from
and year
elite
two.
to like
That's what I'm saying.
year 4.
But this is why I would disagree.
Victor's he's elite at something right now.
When the Nuggets went to the playoffs in 18-19 season and they got eliminated by Portland, that series went to 7 games.
yes.
You knew at that time what you had and the core you had. The very next year in the bubble, they went to the conference finals. Jamal Murray from that point forward
I think
was
that was
hurt. And that was in that moment right there, the Nuggets could have made a move and said, we don't want to count on this injury-prone guy. We want to get a player who can help Nikola Jokic win now. Instead, they were patient with Jamal's recovery, and they ended up winning a championship.
The Spurs don't have a Jamal guy on the roster.
Yeah, that's a different
but
case.
you're telling me right now they're about to get 2 top 10
and
picks.
they've got very.
Brother, have you seen this draft? Have you looked at it at all?
he has.
the draft in the
this-
top 5, top 10, they could get some solid starters.
Get solid starters.
Yes.
But
Yes,
there's no
you're-
Trae
you're-
Young.
This is solid.
There's
There's
no
no
LaMelos.
Jamal Murray.
Nobody
There's no Trae
thought
Young.
Trae Young was going to be a bona fide,
He was a top 5
consistent all-star when he got drafted either.
I don't know. People were
was
pretty
top
high
five.
on him.
Trae Young was awesome in college, but his transition to the league
His first year. But Trae Young,
rough. His
Trae
first
Young's
year.
potential is way higher than all of these guards put
I
together.
mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, it's like I don't think. My whole point is you don't have to rush a move. Even if the Spurs were to get Trae Young or LaMelo Ball next year, they're not a top 5 team in the West.
But
Nah, in year two, no,
You
but
could
they're-
argue they
you-
have one of the better duos in the game, though.
you can
They
argue
have
can
one of
make
the better
playoffs
duos in
now.
the game, but they could make the playoffs if they make the right moves about around Wemby going into next season too. They can make the play.
Maybe. I mean, we're looking at
What are the moves that can be
Maybe.
made that can make them
Like,
a
what's your
team?
percentage chance that the Spurs win a championship with Trae Young and Wemby in the next 5 years?
What's name a free agent?
Let me not get crazy. That sounds
Well,
so good,
obviously you can't
though.
get crazy because it's a crazy projection down the
Yeah,
line, even
yeah.
because the roster's not even built, and you have to trade things to go get Trae Young.
The Spurs
But now
have
Vassell can be a true two.
the Spurs have gotten good free agents and good talents
What
when
if
they had
the
their
Hawks
big
want
three,
Devin
bro.
Vassell in exchange? They want to
I'm
be
not
in the
doing that
package.
trade.
You have to say
Respectfully,
yes.
I'm saying no.
Cool.
You have to say
I'm not
yes.
We
giving up
talking
Devin
about
Vassell.
we're not saying the Spurs
Yeah.
getting Trae Young for nothing.
You're right.
They got to
No,
give
whoa,
a lot.
whoa,
No, but you have a bunch
They're
of draft
getting
picks. You have
yes.
your own first picks. You're not giving
You
Devin
think
Vassell.
you think the Hawks are standing there like, yeah, we're gonna take these 2 top 10 picks in this draft that we know is whack
You
for Trae
you
Young?
have future picks
Nah,
too, and you have some
Spurs
younger,
have a lot
more
of
interesting,
picks.
Keldons. And they're not obviously Devin Vassell, but then I'm with you because you don't really have a third option. Devin Vassell could be a damn good third, one of the best third options in the league.
We just seen OKC be super patient with SGA, and
That was
now
a
they're reaping the
different
benefits.
case. They traded for SGA, traded away Paul George, and they didn't know he'd be this
If
good.
they knew
They
SGA
didn't
was
know-
going to be this good, do you think they would have sped it up
like
faster?
they didn't know he'd be a
'Cause that's what
31
Wemby
point
is
per
right
game
now.
scorer.
This is Wemby. Like we know
Victor,
he's
year
going to
one,
be
they
an
know.
MVP.
Like he's him. This is one of them ones.
SGA has been all NBA since last year, and OKC still hasn't made a rush trade like getting Siakam or Lauri Markkanen.
No.
I think that's pretty telling.
No,
on
they
how
haven't-
much they believe in a young core.
No, they
They're
haven't.
literally being patient right now.
Yeah, they are because they have a young core to be patient with. The Spurs don't have anything
They
but
don't.
that.
Well,
J-Dub,
you have the one guy. Wemby is a rookie. Like he's
Chet
not
was
in
a-
year
yeah, but
6
Chet- but
or 7.
You're talking
He's
about
a
these
rookie.
dudes were relying on top 5 picks.
Can we
outside
at
of
least
J-Dub.
wait for the Spurs to see what they are in the next 2 seasons before we say that they just gotta trade their assets for an all-star?
Well, I mean, they have to make a move.
They do.
That's drafting and
They
seeing
don't-
if the
I mean,
player.
they don't.
hits.
They don't have to make a move.
No, they have to make some semblance, like whether it be a good free agent or stuff like that.
Yeah.
If they get some good players, we're gonna think, all right, this team needs more by the end of the year. Again, that's what we're gonna think.
And that's not a
if
bad
we're viewing
thing
them
going
in
into year 2
terms
of
of a
Wemby.
contender.
No, I know, but you're talking about teams who their second best players are stars, and you're talking about let's draft a player in this. If this was if this was next year, and they had like Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey coming in, and they had an opportunity at that, I'd say wait, cool, that's fine. You're bringing in 2 guys that are like that, but you're talking about a draft class that is literally a bunch of good players, good solid ass players, but nobody that's taking the cake. Nobody has been consistent. So you talk about a class that they have to wait for to bring in 2 solid players, which is fine. They don't have a Tony Parker like Tim Duncan at. They didn't luck into that. They didn't luck into Jamal Murray. They have to go get talent now.
Yeah, he's a rookie, bro. He's not. He's what? 20, he just turned 20 years old.
I don't think that matters. He's a different type of rookie.
Yes, it does matter.
It's a different type of rookie.
Because why are you rushing something that you haven't even seen come yet? Like, listen, if the Spurs draft 2 players in the top 10 and they're trash, they cannot play, then I'm like, okay, you should probably make a trade because you clearly can't draft and get serviceable players. But if they
you
draft,
can't make that. If the players suck, of course you got to make the trade. That's hindsight. That's why we're saying now I'd rather have the proven player because I already know Wemby's proven. He's a rookie, but he's proven that he could be the best player in the league. I think as soon as next season,
the best luxury to have in sports in both the NBA and the NFL right now is having a team that you aren't paying much money to. Okay, there's a reason why in the NFL, quarterbacks on a rookie scale contract, they get high level talent around them.
But this is Wemby on your rookie. This is Wemby on your quarterback contract. This is going to be when he signs his extension, bro. That's going to be like $90 million a year probably. Lucas got to be 70.
I'll be honest, I'm not thinking too much about the money when it comes to that because look at the Boston Celtics. They were able to give Jaylen Brown a max. They were able to
there's not like a hard cap in the NBA
and
like
now
there is in
we can bring
the
in
NFL.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but if you now make a trade for somebody who is gonna demand $45 to $50 million a year, that's a lot of money you're allocating.
LaMelo's contract isn't crazy.
Trae Young's contract, I believe, is around that area.
LaMelo's 35, 38, 41, 44, 46.
That's honestly not going to be bad.
Yeah. And he's at 10 mil.
You said LaMelo's or who's? Trae Young's?
I said LaMelo's.
So LaMelo is on a 5-year supermax. He's getting 40 mil, 43 next year, 45, and then 48 mil at 28 years old. Like, I feel like we should at least give the Spurs a draft in a free agency with Wemby until we just say they got to make this star level move. I at least want to see them have a draft to where they can get a player and they can develop him.
I don't know, man.
How much young talent do they have?
Drafting
players that I feel
take away Wemby and take away Wemby.
I feel great about Dem Vassell. Everyone else, there's no one else I feel great about. Anyone else could get moved.
They got blessed with number 1 overall last season. Drafted Jeremy Shohan over J-Dub. Drafted him over Jalen Duren, who's been playing pretty solid.
That's fine. Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, backup point guard.
No.
Anyone other than those two can get moved in a heartbeat with all due respect.
And even Trey Jones could get moved.
Yeah, and
would you rather Peyton Watson or would you rather Jeremy Shohan?
I don't think
Peyton Watson.
When have we ever added a backup point guard in a young core?
Cason Wallace is OKC's young core is the backup point guard.
But I think he has like potential to be like a low end.
Well, he also
for the majority of his OKC tenure, he's probably your backup.
No,
that's solely due to circumstance, though.
Okay, I understand that, but Trey Jones isn't a garbage player. Like I don't
think he's garbage.
Cason Wallace would immediately start on the Spurs.
Your question to me was, what players do you feel good about on the Spurs young core?
Yeah.
And to me, good about means that I think they're serviceable NBA players. I'm not saying all-star, but I think they are players that can be in a rotation. And I feel like that matters. Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson.
You really feel good about him?
He's a rotation player.
He's a rotation
$20 million.
player.
He's a rotation player. I mean, they already paid him. He's a rotation player.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at that like
Zach Collins isn't a bad player either.
Keldon Johnson isn't
it's
a part
just
of
when
your
you
core.
compare it to
we're
the
talking
Thunder.
Core, core.
We're just talking about players that you feel good about that like can be good NBA players. Really, that's what the question.
I don't think there's nothing on this roster to really be patient about outside of Wemby and Vassell. Like the Thunder, it's like Chet got hurt. J-Dub year 1 as a rookie was sensational. SGA had this breakout. Okay, we got a core of 3 guys that could legitimately be on this team for a decade.
Well, Devin Vassell, I think you could be patient with.
I'm 1,000%. That was him and Wemby. Those are the two.
He's somebody to me that I feel like he's a younger Chris
He'll be
Middleton.
24 this summer. So
Vassell?
You still have time. You still have time.
Devin Vassell's a 24
Stop
game
pretending
scorer.
like he's old.
24, bro? He's damn good for 23.
no, I'm saying it's time to like start being consistent.
Devin Vassell's averaging 20 at 20 years old. I mean, he's a good player.
He's a dog.
He's a good player.
And he's efficient.
Yeah, I wasn't saying like a bad thing. I'm saying it's time to start
ramping up.
Yeah, ramping up. That's all.
Okay. I thought he was saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm saying it's time to start ramping it up.
I was just like, what
are
are
you with him, bro? 27.
I know.
No interest.
I know.
You look at these young dudes; they starting to ramp it up. Like
he is
I
ramping
don't
it
know
up
if Devin
though.
Vassell's going to be a top 10 player, but he's going to be a, like I said,
don't gotta be a
best
top 10
third
player,
option
man.
league.
He could be a good third option. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's why you have the draft when they're going to get a top 5 pick. That's the other top prospect you add to this team.
brother, you're not getting a number 2 guy.
Got a full topic list, by the way, fellas.
We're not saying,
not on the top
bro,
list.
I feel like you're not hearing me. I'm not saying they're going to get top guy. I'm saying they're going to get a good player.
No. Okay, I get what you're saying, but Devin Vassell's a third, which means
right now,
you need a number 2, some in this form of a rookie deal that Victor has. You need to get a number 2 guy. That's all we're saying.
He needs to taste the playoffs in his rookie contract.
Well, he will. He's in his rookie year right
Agreed.
now.
I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah.
He needs to be in the playoffs one time, at least in this rookie contract.
I've seen before when a team has rushed a rebuild, and that was the Pelicans with Anthony Davis. And what happened? They traded him because he was distraught. They rushed a rebuild when they went and they
That's
traded.
also unfair because DeMarcus Cousins did get hurt.
Okay, but they made moves before that tarnished their future. They traded for Tyreek Evans. They traded for Drew Holiday. They got Rajon Rondo.
Didn't Tyreek Evans end up being like off the court issue? Am I bugging?
He was never worth what they traded for him in the contracts they were giving him, but that was way after his Pelicans tenure.
Got it.
That was after when he was with the Grizzlies.
Okay.
They went all in and they weren't able to acquire, the guys, but they acquired serviceable ones. They had short-term success. It wasn't long-lived. Well, Wemby, you got to think long-term, not just short-term. You got to have that long-term outlook that we want to build this team around him for years to come, not just 1 year. And I don't even feel like Wemby's at the point yet where you just get him a bona fide all-star.
I don't think that's what happened,
you should
bro.
have high-end expectations.
With the Pelicans, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think that's what happened with the Pelicans because the year they had Tyreek, then they got Boogie. They made a run, and then Boogie got hurt because they made the playoffs.
Before that, they
2018.
traded for Drew Holiday.
Yeah, they had Drew, Rondo, Boogie on that team, but Tyreek Evans came before that run. I think they broke because they got hurt.
No, but they were within that timeline making moves like that.
Yeah.
To continue continue to push the needle for the team. Yeah. I just feel like there has been more moments where things have gone terribly wrong than they've gone right, and I just feel like you should just be patient. And if one comes available, I think you got to do it at the right price. Like I think Trae Young is way out of the price range.
Would you say that the Pelicans are upset in the grand scheme of things over what happened with AD? In the grand scheme of things.
Well, in that tenure, that was a failure, 100%.
And then he goes to Lakers and wins the championship.
100%.
But you end up getting fortunate again. You get Zion Williamson at pick 1.
But that has nothing to do with the
trade. In the trade, I'm saying in hindsight, does it matter? Like,
it does matter because
Anthony Davis.
We got paired with LeBron James.
I know, but I would have liked to have build a team around Anthony Davis because I don't know if he's winning you a finals, but you're having some competitive teams. You're going on deep playoff runs, which they haven't been able to do.
Like him winning a championship, absolutely. I get where you come from. He was a LeBron James.
Yeah, I know.
And he was there 50-50 split. You could argue that there was 50% of those series that AD was the best player. Absolutely, he was amazing in his own right. But you're pairing him alongside the best.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if he by himself would have ever won the championship there. I don't. It was in New Orleans.
It's like the foundation of the Pelicans right now is built for the long term. I feel like you wanted them to do it this way, right? This is the way that you want them to do it. They've been doing it, and it's been working out.
But Wemby, I feel more confident in that.
No,
one
for
day
sure.
he'll be able to be the best player on the championship team.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think until that's here, you don't got to rush the move. Until that moment is here.
Yeah.
Until like he's top 10 for an entire season.
Honestly,
now we got to really get him.
You
help.
can't go wrong either way. If you get 2 top 5 picks and you're able to add 2, high level rookies to this team, that's a W. If you're able to flip them and you get an all-star level player to pair with Victor Wembanyama and you can speed up this rebuild, but you're still, I think, would have some sort of draft capital. I don't know if it would take every single pick. I don't think that's the end of the world either.
I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think making a move for either guy for the right price is rushing it. I don't. I think if you have a chance to build a duo in the West, and because you have to build talent in the West, if you have a chance to pair a great playmaker in both guys with Victor, and a chance where you can give up this draft, I'm cool with that. You know, if you got to give up too much, then it makes sense. But I don't see this draft as being the draft where they can get that guy, and then that means you're hoping to be bad for next year, which you probably won't be. Which means you have to bank on the Hawks pick if they do have it for next year being bad. So you're asking for a lot in a year where you want to be competitive. You won't even get another top pick for that draft. So I don't know.
Now we're into the show. I haven't even talked about the Mavericks yet. And if you didn't know what
I was having fun.
If you didn't know what this podcast is about, just let me let you guys know what it is about. It's NFL NBA. It's not a Mavericks solely podcast like Drew has begun to think it is because of the overwhelming amount of Mavericks fans that are in the comments.
I don't want to hear what Drew thinks it is.
Did you delete the
reality of the fact?
Did you delete the tweet?
Which
on
one?
the Pick a Side account?
Which one?
It was was it Santos who did it? Maybe I'm bugging because I went and didn't see it. It was who hates the Mavs more, me or you?
Oh no, that was Santos.
Oh, I saw it and then I went back to the page. I was like, did he delete it? Why would he delete it? But that makes more sense.
Yeah, it was Santos. It's it is so overwhelming in my favor that I hate the Mavs more.
It was like 70-30 when I voted.
You know, I think
Did you
the
vote
Mavericks.
for yourself?
Oh no, I voted for you.
I voted for you.
I didn't vote. To be fair, no, to be fair, and I wanted to be fair. I knew I was going to pick you, so I wanted to give you guys an even shot.
Okay.
Let the people decide that. I don't want to have an insider vote.
You know what? I'll take that because I am the Dallas hater. I'm not the Luka hater. He's the Luka hater.
I got nothing against Luka. Great guy.
Now this. Okay.
Great
Continue,
guy.
please, Joel.
Now, they're the biggest storyline of the weekend. We've been harping on for an hour about other things, but,
About the Spurs.
The Mavericks are
They deserve
the
it.
biggest
Shout out to the
storyline
Spurs.
of the weekend. They jumped from the 8th seed to the 5th seed in the last week. Last 10 games, 9-1, 7th in offensive rating, 3rd in defensive rating, 2nd in net rating. Listen, man, there's a lot of good things going on with Dallas. If I were to rank the West playoff teams from the best chance to make the finals to the worst chance to make the
Oh,
finals.
so the topic we were going to do was scrapped. Here we go.
No, we're still going to do the topic.
Oh,
but
my bad.
Number 1, I got the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are the favorites. I think they should go back-to-back. Number 2, I believe in OKC and their young team and their young core. That's number 2. Number 3, that's where the Dallas Mavericks come into play. The Mavericks are number 3 for me. Until I see Cat back, I can't put the T-Wolves at 4. Number 4, it's between the Lakers and the Pelicans. I'm going to give the nod to the Lakers. Number 5 is the Pelicans. Number 5 is the Timberwolves. Number 6 is the Pelicans. Number 7 is the Kings. Number 8 is the Warriors.
We're the Suns.
Oh, sorry. The Suns are at 7.
Okay. I thought
The
you had
Warriors or
Suns at
Kings
9.
are at 8. So, yes, the Suns are at 7. Did I mention the Clippers either? I don't think I mentioned
I
the
don't think you
Clippers.
said the Clippers.
Yeah, well, just know the Clippers and the Suns, both
They're
in
low.
that fraud watch. I think them both they're a little bit below the Pelicans. I'd have them a tier behind them until they can figure out on a consistent basis their troubles. And then the Kings and Warriors, I just kind of have them. I don't think there's a chance. There's no chance. But the Mavericks, yes, they're a top 3 team in the West to me. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, the rhythm that they've been having is perfect. P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, post-trade deadline, huge moves. I think inserting Derrick Jones Jr. into the lineup has been really huge for them. They lose shooting, but the defense they get with P.J. and Derrick Jones Jr. I think is made up for it. And then the 3-guard lineup with Dante Exum, who I think, if we're not talking about traditional most improved players, he's definitely one of those guys that you look at and say he's improved. Yes, he was in the league. He's now playing awesome for the Mavs. I think this team is better than the team that made the conference finals just 2 seasons ago. I think they're slightly better, and I think they got a real chance to go that far in the playoffs again. They're the hottest team in the NBA. There's no doubt about it. And I'm feeling good about the top 6 seed bet, by the way.
You could make the argument. I'm not saying you would because I know how much you love the OKC Thunder. You've come up here and said that SGA could go bar for bar with Luka Doncic, with Nikola Jokic. But if someone came up here and said that I trust the Mavs second most in the West, I want to call you crazy.
I don't think that's crazy either.
I don't think the way you mentioned this too, Chet's been struggling to shoot the ball lately. This Knicks game yesterday, I call it only the second half, but there was multiple 3-point shots where he's not hitting rim. He's hitting the side of the backboard or just straight on and missing the rim entirely. His shot's been a little bit out of funk. SGA battling with an injury. So the way Dallas is playing, granted, the competition outside of Denver has not been great. There's been some Jazz games in there we were talking before the show. Did get 2 big wins on the road in Sacramento. But as you mentioned, if Luka and Kyrie are going to play this efficiently at this high level on offense and the improvements they've made defensively, this is one of the scarier teams in the West because Luka Doncic has been a top 2 player in the world this year.
Go ahead, River.
You think second's crazy? That's what Dehls said. The Mavericks are either the 3rd best team in the West or the 2nd best team in the West.
You've just been all over the place with that, so I don't,
Who?
Joel. So,
I said that's what Dehls just said.
That's what I said.
That's what Dehls just said.
yeah, well, you had him at 2.
I had him
the
at
Thunder
3.
at 2.
Yeah.
He had to have them at 2.
He had to.
It makes sense. I'm glad you did.
Well, I think the Thunder are a bit of a better team, but I think what he said was sound. That series could go either way. That's a 7-game series.
That could go either way for sure.
Which OKC and Dallas.
OKC and
Yeah.
Dallas.
Okay,
I think those are the 2 biggest threats to Denver in the playoffs.
I don't. But
Who do you think is?
I don't think. I think Denver would handle OKC.
But that's not the question. It's
OKC.
who's a bigger threat.
I don't think there is a threat.
That's a fair answer.
But if you had to pick one.
It wouldn't be those two. It'd probably Minnesota isn't healthy. Probably would have been them. For Denver, for Denver's purposes.
Keep LA out of this.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Keep it far, far
it would
away.
be
0-8.
If the Lakers, if Denver was in the league, you could make the argument Lakers go to the finals.
If they weren't, they
Denver
didn't
was in the league,
exist.
yes.
They didn't exist. I most definitely would be chatting.
Dallas has definitely been on the heater. We did talk about the schedule a little bit prior.
mention? I was gonna say no one's mentioned it.
The schedule?
I was just.
Because
I did.
I feel like
I
They beat
mentioned
the
it.
Nuggets and the Kings twice.
I
think that's fine.
And this is where I need you to step in. Because again, the streets know I'm a Lakers fan. I can't really comment on the Kings, but you can.
I don't think the Kings are that good
I
either.
don't think they're that good, but it's a good win because they're home.
Yes.
The Kings are a very good home team.
That's where I was
the
impressed.
energy is sound
The
there.
second Kings win
Yeah.
impressed me the most.
That's a playing team,
Absolutely.
playoff team. That's a great
No,
one.
Honest to
Oh,
God,
absolutely.
it's not. I mean, it
You
is.
gotta,
mean
you
it's
gotta
not.
win
Their
those
offense-
games. I don't really like.
Their
got-
offense has the same players
We've
from
had this
last
conversation
year.
before, so
Not
I don't
as
wanna-
good.
I don't wanna
You're
go
not
again.
playing the Blazers, with
Yeah.
all due respect.
You're
to
not,
Portland.
but you're not playing Denver. But they beat Denver.
They beat Denver.
So, but I just don't think the Kings are that good. Like I
And they
personally don't
beat
think
Denver, and they didn't shoot great
It's
from
just,
3.
it's just at Boston. Like they're not playing Boston.
Well, nobody's Boston
Correct.
right now. So personally, I don't think the Kings are that good. I think they're a fun team. They make games exciting,
hate
but
the Kings.
I don't think they're that good. I don't need to hate them. We conquered that demon. So I'm good off that. But I do think Dallas has definitely, they've definitely been on the heater. Drew wants to talk about the schedule so painfully bad. They had some good wins in there. They also had some cakewalks in there. Nobody's doubting that. And their schedule going forward will be a couple cakewalks. So it's definitely a time to get hot. With a couple other teams like the Clippers, like the Suns, who have been a little bit inconsistent. Pelicans, you got to wait to see what BI comes back. Hopefully he does come back in time so he can get hyped up for that one. I don't know if they're the 3rd best, but you got to look at the thing about it is they're the hottest, so you can make the argument. The argument is sound. Dallas coming in as of late has been one of the hottest teams in the league, and with teams like the Clippers, like the Suns struggling, the Kings losing Malik Monk, they just lost a back-to-back on probably the most important part of this season. With the Lakers still at the bottom of the play-in, Minnesota lost Cat. Pretty much Dallas is looking like we're getting healthy, we're getting hot. We can go and we can beat any team. So I think that's a sound argument. I do think that the West is extremely competitive, and 1 through 6 is going to be fuck that. 1 through 10 is going to be a bloodbath. But I do think Dallas has been impressive. Offensively, they've been elite when their 2 guys have been playing. Luka just had 22 and a quarter against the Rockets, made a statement
He's
for
absolutely
sure.
amazing.
And the defense is improving when their guys are getting healthy. So that's something you definitely want to see.
Dallas Mavericks have been through a lot of ups and downs this season. Right now, they're on the biggest up of their year. Excuse me. They've been an interesting team.
It feels painful.
I wouldn't say it's painful because I'm just trying to make sure that my thoughts are in order.
I don't think he's moved.
I'm moved by Luka Doncic. Like everyone else in the world is. Like anyone who respects the Dallas Mavericks is. They understand that Luka Doncic is a top 2, top 3 player in the world. In my opinion, should be the MVP this season. He has just been otherworldly on the offensive side of the basketball. He's one of the better rebounders for his position. You could argue the best rebounder at his position. He's one of the best passers in the game. He's one of the best passers this game's ever seen. And efficiently this year, he has been exceptional. Alongside Kyrie Irving, who I've been tweeting about a lot today, and I've been getting some backlash because I'm trying to enlighten the world about how, Luka Doncic has been great, but so has Kyrie Irving. And you even tweeted about it a little bit, saying how, in comparison, because you feel Luka Doncic is already leaps and bounds better than Kawhi in a playoff series. He said, let's start to have conversations about Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard. Now, that's a step too far, in my opinion, and I respect you for...
Heard that one, Rip?
Certain stuff I
He's
can't take
averaging more points and assists than Kawhi Leonard.
Certain
Now,
stuff I
Averaging more
refuse
points
to
and
take
assists
serious.
than Kawhi Leonard?
He is.
That's the barometer for, like, if you're better or not?
VORP, PR has been kind of similar.
So I really wanted to acknowledge that because efficiency-wise, Kyrie Irving has been one of the most efficient players in the game. And for his position, now with Luka Doncic, he really has become that true two-guard, similar to how we saw with his tenure in Brooklyn. And he's still continuing to be the same efficient player. I forget over a certain amount of games. It might be post-trade, post-All-Star game. But in first half points, Luka is first in that. And in second half points, Kyrie Irving is first in that. What are we showing?
Look who has more greens.
Oh, yeah.
Kawhi across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
Points and assists, though.
Yeah, but when you look at
box plus minus.
When you look at what
look at Vorp.
What's Vorp telling us?
Vorp's telling us who's
when you look at
more
what the
valuable
green
He's telling
is,
Kawhi
though,
players.
it's not a
Do me
gap.
a favor. Can you search up Anthony Edwards?
versus Kyrie
Irving.
Gotcha.
It's not a gap
And
with
Anthony
the...
Edwards better not lose.
And now I'm letting it be known.
Efficiency.
I'm letting it be known. This is not a targeting at Joel because I'm having a conversation talking about the best shooting guards in the league. And there's an argument. Excuse me. There's an argument for Kyrie Irving as a top 3 shooting guard in the league if you identify him as a shooting guard. Now, you have Devin Booker, you have Donovan Mitchell, who in my opinion this season has been the best too, although he's been struggling through injury. And then that 3 spot becomes a conversation between the Anthony Edwards, Kyrie Irving, and your boy Jaylen Brown. My boy Jaylen Brown, realistically, but I can't really say that too loud. But Kyrie Irving has been...
nuts.
I know it is.
You gonna let him do that?
What?
He knows Jaylen Brown. Now, please reveal that to me. Can you just read it? Just read it for me.
All right, so games, I don't care about games played.
no.
Points per game, and
Which is 26.1 to 25.
0.3.
Okay.
Total rebounds, and I'm rounding it 6 to 5. Assist,
There's
Kyrie.
no way we're stat heading these two.
No,
players
no, no,
between
no, no,
who's
no.
Oh, we're having
better or
fun here.
worse.
No, we are.
Assist, Kyrie.
Oh, my
steals
God.
and blocks, and
We just lost
efficiency
all
across the
credibility.
board.
Correct.
And?
And?
I mean, I'm sorry,
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Thank you. I was gonna
Kyrie.
say.
Even box plus minus, an important advanced statistic. But Vorp, unfortunately, Kyrie does not win that.
I'm having trouble just gauging what the correlation of this is.
I
So
don't know.
all
I
I'm
object because listen,
Can I finish speaking? Let me finish
I just
speaking.
have a.
Keep
I
trying
had
to
a.
cook
I
in,
had a
man, I feel
gripe.
like.
I'm not cooking him,
I had a gripe with the first thing you said. Really, when you went.
which is
But I'll let you finish. I wanted to see where you
I
were
didn't
getting to,
finish.
but because you haven't yet. You said I'm moved by Luka, so you not moved by the Mavericks as a team.
if you can I finish?
Yes. Are you moved by them
Are you gonna
as a team?
stop talking?
Yes. Are you moved? That's the question. We're talking about the Mavericks
All right,
as a team.
I'm trying to talk about the team.
Because you trying to prop Luka, but you trying to slight the Mavericks as a whole.
That's
That's
not
why
true.
I'm trying to see where you getting
I
at.
think he's a Dallas fan.
Die hard, actually. He hasn't gotten this enemy about the Knicks in years.
Only RJ Barrett.
I say this because what I've been fixated the most on with the Mavericks all season long has been their defense. Never question their offense because you have 2 of the best offensive players in the league, arguably the best offensive player in Luka Doncic. Now, you mentioned to me about the defense that they're 3rd right now since
Last 10
12.
games.
last 10 games. But post-trade deadline, which was what I keep going by, they're 17th in defensive
That's
rating.
wrong.
Cor-
That's
no.
post All-Star break. Post trade
Well,
deadline.
I
They've been top 10 in
apologize.
defense.
I meant to say, man, this guy is really,
he's a
really.
fan.
No, I'm just saying because there's misinformation.
I
Better
did.
than his off the
All
rip.
you had to say,
Bro, memorize every Dallas number post during
that's
deadline.
fine.
Post All-Star.
I did mean post All Star, correct? So I'm fine with him correcting me. Just a little bit less bass in your voice would have been appreciated.
We got you. He just don't
So
disrespect
that was all
Dallas.
the
Don't get
all
on
the-
his
all
voice,
the
man.
souls
Don't
and
get his
energy from the
guys.
Mavericks fans in the comments
Trust
came
me,
out of me.
I know. This is a Mavericks podcast. So I say that because last 10 they've been awesome. Have faced Utah twice in that span. Have faced the Kings.
No Laurie, right?
No, I don't believe so. No, they did face the Nuggets. This was the win that really got me the most. I mean, amazing. You keep them to 105 points, one of the better offenses in the game.
I think it was 95 the night before.
They really have been on an awesome run. The Houston Rockets have been playing some great basketball, although it's been their defense that's really been the crux of this current rejuvenation of Houston Rockets basketball. They still held them to under 100 points. It's the last 10 games, which is what I really like about that, is the competition has been relatively lackluster.
Convenient, you would say.
I don't want to go that far.
Well, in the
because-
last 12, they've been second best defense, actually.
Yeah, that's
Better
what he said.
defense.
If you go from the last 12, he said that they are better stats. But again, post All-Star break.
Which is what you enjoy.
It feels like it's relatively more recent. You get a good amount of games there. I still have them where they have been playing some awesome basketball offensively. It's undeniable. I still am not going to buy this hype of them still being. What is the purpose of having this conversation? Just to feel like nice they finished in second place?
Well, they're a great team in the West. Dehls thinks they can be as high as the second best team in the West.
That's what I'm saying.
You clearly lost your bet with the Dallas Mavericks. Top 60, they're going to win that easily.
Now, I'll comment on that. The Kings screwed me. I needed one. However, still not. I mean, two games.
The last 12 games involved the Detroit Pistons.
That's cool. That's why the stats are better.
No. And against the Detroit Pistons, they led with the most points to them over the last 12 games.
Probably was letting them do whatever
124 for sure.
Point,
it was over.
You're trying to find these individual games to nitpick why their defense
I'm not
been bad.
I mean, you mentioned the 10 games. I'm just acknowledging
Let me ask you this question.
Correct.
Why would you rather use post All-Star break sample size rather than trade deadline sample
More
size?
games, and it's recent.
Trade deadline is before.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Understand.
When they got the additions of P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford, I think from that starting point forward, that's what matters most. And from that starting point forward, they have been a top 10 defense and offense in the NBA.
It's just a break in the season. This is like their mini rest of the NBA basketball season.
So you would still use post All-Star break over?
We can still use trade deadline, of course, because they've been pretty solid again since the trade deadline.
For me, the problems with Dallas's defense has always been an effort issue. We saw this team be a top 10 defense just 2 seasons ago with similar personnel across the board. I am buying in on a defense being serviceable, and then the offense is going to be a top offense with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in the playoffs.
But again, my question to you becomes, why be so animated about the Dallas Mavericks to finish in second place?
I feel as if the point of this conversation and the reason why it should be had is because same reason why we had the Rockets conversation when they were on a win streak. Mm-hmm. They are the most important storyline happening at the moment. The Mavericks right now jumping from an 8th seed to a 5th seed within the last week, I think is one of the more important storylines. And on top of that, I don't
care about topic shows. I just mean in terms of passion.
I really do think they are a top 3 team in the West. How many teams in the West would you put over them?
But in the grand scheme of things, how many teams would I put over them? I would still have the Nuggets, which ultimately...
They've been one of the hottest teams in the league, so it's hard to really make a case.
It's
you can make
just
a case.
in a vacuum.
You can say it's only been the last 10 games.
I still believe in.
This isn't who they really are. If that's the case you want to make.
It's up to
I can make an argument for the Lakers. We've been one of the best offenses in the game. Effort-wise, defensively, we haven't been showing it. We've been one of the worst defenses since the post-All-Star break. I'll be consistent there, which is what I've been using a lot of. But offensively, we've been right there near the top, right there with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
So, I mean, and why can't I make the argument for the Lakers?
You can.
Right? So that's a team that I could argue. OKC has been just one of the more consistent teams all season long. Without Karl Anthony Towns, I still like that Minnesota Mavericks series would be a good one. I probably would lean Mavericks just because I don't know how that team looks in the postseason.
The point is that
still have to respect the Clippers.
This is clearly one of the best teams in the West. I think that's the point of the conversation.
But my thing is, the West becomes so null and void, and I feel like it's unfortunate with the NBA right now where it's Denver. Not much to really talk about.
Should we just not talk about anyone else?
Right, like I get it, but in terms of like just the passion, the drive for this team,
if this
with
was the
Luka
Lakers,
Doncic, but the thing is, the Lakers still.
If the Lakers made this type of jump in the standings, you'd be head over heels.
Well,
and you're telling Mavericks fans to calm down.
Let me not say that really because
you wouldn't.
We were 7th last year. I say that with the idea. Crazy. I say that with the idea that we were 7th and still were able to make a run. I don't care where we are placed. Personally, I don't care where we are. I still trust in my squad. Now, as for the Mavericks, you've been making a jump to go from 8 to 5. You've been playing some great basketball. You've beaten who you're supposed to beat. Hell, you weren't supposed to beat the Nuggets. Amazing win. Both games versus the Kings away, you weren't supposed to beat both of them. Well done beating both of those, especially that second game, which is what I said early on. But again, there's been a lot of games that you should have won. I'm not giving you a round of applause for beating the Utah Jazz twice.
Well, I mean, in the trade deadline or post All-Star break and the All-Star break, we all knew that they were going to have the easiest strength of schedule. And you still thought they weren't going to finish with the top 6 seed.
We had a bet early on already.
Dallas could lose 5th seed tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
They've been going back and forth. I mean, I have
Their
1 week where Joel is in my ear.
If the Pelicans beat the Suns tonight, the Pelicans
go back up. Yeah, so this conversation would be for about a team that's been a 5th seed for 20
And the truth of the matter
hours.
is, I do want the Pelicans to win because I want the Lakers to keep going.
Like
right?
I think if the Pelicans made this type of jump and they were the 4th seed, because they were on the Clippers' heels.
But the Pelicans have been playing some awesome basketball all season.
So were the Mavericks. The Mavericks are playing awesome basketball.
They haven't been playing all season though.
Yes, but they have been playing awesome basketball right
Recently.
now, and there have been stretches when they've been healthy.
Yes.
They play exceptional. When they're healthy, they have a top 4 win percentage in the Western Conference.
Now let me ask you a question, Joel, because you say that you like the Mavericks more than OKC now.
I think you make the argument. I'd probably still have OKC over them.
See, but then why say that?
Okay, fine. I have Dallas over them. We can play this game.
Okay, why?
Why?
Because offensively, OKC, where if you want to favor Dallas because of Luka, that's fine.
I think Dallas and OKC
offensive-
match up well against each other.
be a fun game.
Dallas has more experience. They have the best player in the series, in my opinion. I don't look at really anyone. They probably don't have the POA defenders to guard SGA and J-Dub for that matter. But I think offensively, they can match anyone. We saw 2 years ago, Luka was able to go on a run with, you mentioned it, similar personnel, except you're upgrading from Jalen Brunson now to Kyrie Irving. The defense probably isn't as good as it was that year because these numbers are fake compared to the numbers that it was 2 seasons ago.
Has been great all year long.
But listen,
and they still are great.
Luka Doncic, for the amount of shit that I've given him on this podcast, when he gets into playoffs, is one of the best in NBA history.
But again, I've been told, which is I still believe this, that SGA can go into any series and match the best player on the opposing team.
You can.
I think Dehls believes that.
I don't know if SGA can match Luka's offensive performance night in, night out.
I think Luka Doncic is the better player. No, agree.
And that's not exactly. It's not a slight to SGA. It's just Luka Doncic is going to go out there and he's going to have probably multiple games in that series where he's dropping 40.
I have faith in SGA, but that series can go back and forth. I think Luka comes out on top though. I think Luka, as performance-wise,
for sure,
plays better.
Luka's the better player.
And it's just there is no way to guard the Mavericks. Really, there's no way. I know it's hard to guard OKC.
I was going to say, how do we guard them?
But it's harder to guard Luka because if you blitz him, he's making every right read out of the pick and roll. And if those shooters get hot, it's over. They can beat
which has been a problem.
OKC too, though. I
mean,
Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, J-Dub, they have shooters there too.
On this win streak, they have not been shooting well from the three. They've been shooting 30% from the three. They have not been shooting well. But then if you let Luka go on one-on-one, he could drop 22 in the first quarter like he did against the Rockets.
See, that's the thing. I'm having the teammates beat him.
22 in a quarter.
I'm more worried about what the others.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm in a series versus the Dallas Mavericks.
The Warriors' game plan when they beat them in the WCF was just to let Luka cook.
Yeah, because he can cook.
Yeah.
If you stop everybody else, though, it becomes harder. That's why the Kyrie factor is so big. Because he needs to find that vibe.
That's what I'm saying. Let the others beat me. I'm not having Luka. Are you going
to face a team as good as the 2022 Warriors team? Dallas, I'm saying. How locked in you guys were defensively?
Unless it's Denver.
Okay, I was going to say.
Defensively?
Yeah, of course, Denver.
Defensively, probably not. No team has Draymond.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think.
And also, depending on what side of the bracket,
such a great defense. Where
you
were able to.
Jalen Brunson wasn't Kyrie at that time.
That's true. Yes.
But I think teams have answers for Kyrie defensively.
When you have so much attention to Luka as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you have OKC. Thing is, you probably put Dortz, but J-Dub is a great defender too.
Yes, for sure.
That's a bigger body. He could struggle with Kyrie, but I think the main focus is just Luka's gonna do whatever he's gonna do. It's really not about that. It's never been about that. He's always been great in the playoffs. It's about now can guys 2 through 8 step up and have big games and big moments. If they can do that, then Dallas can make a run.
Because Kyrie's been awesome this year. Absolutely. I've said that to start my monologue, but again, these last few times we've seen Kyrie in the playoffs, he hasn't been that same basketball player. I feel like in this situation, it should be a little different because a lot of the attention is on Luka. And again, Luka is so great at seeing the court. He will get Kyrie in his spots. Also in isolation, you still trust Kyrie Irving. But again, it's not as for sure of a thing. Because these last couple of times we've seen Kyrie Irving in a playoff setting, he has been relatively inconsistent. So, again, I'm one of the guys that still trust and believe in the talent of a Kyrie Irving, but just speaking realistically of possibilities, that's what history has shown us with Kyrie Irving, that outside of his tenure with the Cavaliers and LeBron James, he has not been this consistent playoff performer.
So with the Mavericks overall, where you're at, you're not really taking them seriously.
Good question
again,
for you, Drew.
Taking seriously is who can compete for a championship.
So you don't believe it.
So then you're not taking it seriously.
Correct.
Okay.
But
Can the Mavericks compete for a championship?
I don't
Can
think
any
they can
team
beat Denver.
in the West outside of Denver compete for a championship in that setting?
Listen, I can't say anyone no.
Okay, then yeah.
I don't know who could beat Denver.
That's why it's just biggest threats to Denver. That's kind of the exercise we're having here. Biggest threats to Denver.
I'm gonna be on there. Riv said this, and that's the only answer that I would say. There is none.
It's just if Minnesota gets healthy.
There is a threat to Denver with Dallas. Luka can go nuclear.
Like you're telling me that's a 4 or 5 game series.
It's not an easy pick.
I think that could go 6, maybe.
That's gonna be
7.
a great.
Okay, but
it is not going
That's gonna
7.
be a dog.
It probably go 6.
This is where it
7 probably not.
This is what
You're right.
boggles
You're
my
right.
mind and confuses me because I don't think Denver. Like I think there's a couple teams that can give Denver a 6-7 game series.
That's what it's about.
But ultimately, I know for a fact all of us are gonna pick Denver. Because we think in the end, when it's time 4 minutes under, who's going to make the smartest decision, who's going to come out on top.
But that's why I don't want to have the
Denver.
conversation
team
of who can compete for a championship because I agree.
I'm not. That was him.
The only team that I would respect for a 7-game series versus the Nuggets right now would be the Thunder. That's
Why?
the only team I would respect to go 7 with them.
I feel like with
6, 7.
the lack of experience.
Well, I only mean just like, yo, this is a 50-50 coin flip game 7.
But why? What has OKC shown you that other teams haven't? That would say that goes 7.
Consistent offense, consistent defense.
Didn't you just say like a while ago that there were easy pick'ems?
But my point being, I wouldn't do. I said the only team I would consider would be OKC. I still feel firmly there is no real legitimate team that even enters my mind that could beat the Nuggets.
I think the Denver Nuggets are going to 2-peat. I just want to make that known. I think they're going to win a championship.
Yes.
But since when did they become the KD Warriors? Like, this isn't a juggernaut super team that is just unbeatable.
It's just a different
there are
time
ways
period
to
of the
beat
NBA.
this team.
It's just when you have Nikola Jokic.
I know you have Nikola Jokic. I know. I'm
and
not
you
trying.
see the way that MPJ's been playing recently.
I'm not trying to disrespect
Jamal
Denver.
Murray has been playing amazingly all season long.
But let's not act like there's no possible world where anybody can beat them. Like, no, there are some great teams in the West, and they could give them a fight. And if you take a team to 7,
praying the Lakers because I love the Lakers.
I don't think Dallas is a great team though.
Oh, I think they're a great
I don't
team.
know if there's any great team outside. If Minnesota did get healthy,
OKC's a great team.
I don't think
OKC's a
OKC can.
They're not. They're not
a great
They're a good
team.
team with a great.
They don't
player.
have a roster like Denver's. I agree with you, but I think having Luka and Kyrie, it really offsets a lot of the offensive output you're going to
But
get.
I think they're a good team with great players.
Like, what if, for example, what if in that series with the Mavericks and the Nuggets, the Mavericks are shooting 44% from 3 in the series?
I've seen the Nuggets do that.
I know, but like, we've seen teams go on heaters before where they're shooting lights out and they're playing good rhythmic basketball.
Of course.
And the favorites don't always win. And I think there's a world that if the Mavericks, they play their best brand of basketball, that's
then-
a dog
then
fight.
Nuggets
You're also
also won a
hoping
chip
for-
without shooting well last year.
Yeah.
You're hoping for Dallas, which I don't think is going to happen, can lock in defensively and stop Denver for playing perfect basketball.
We've seen the Nuggets do it in a playoff run where they've locked in on defense. They said, "Hey, it's time to actually play team basketball." And PJ became a defensive playoff riser in that series. We saw Aaron Gordon take the best matchup almost every single series and for majority win them. So I mean, I know that the Denver Nuggets can play high-level defense on top of being the best offense in a playoff run. I've seen it. They did it last year, and they have the best player in the world who has a chance to go and win his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons. It again, and you just said it, which I respected. You believe they're going back to back. I just say it a little bit more confidently because they've been coasting, and they just decided, hey, let's turn it on. Let's try and get this 1 seed because home court advantage, since we're Denver, is so valuable. But they don't realistically need it. They're really that great of a team.
And right now, Jamal Murray's hurt.
That's true, but I mean,
That's an injury thing.
take time.
I mean,
Take your time off.
but that is also something that's there with Denver.
I was thinking more if everybody was healthy.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like, yeah, you're 100% right.
If Jamal's not healthy, I'm not this passionate about it.
I mean, I know, but right now, if he wasn't hurt, I'm not mentioning that, but he is dealing with something. And I think he should be
minor,
fine with the
though.
playoffs.
Correct.
He should be fine for the playoffs, but I'm just saying, like,
I feel like this
I
is more
do
of a
think-
monitoring just in case.
I do think that with the West, there's a lot of great teams. I understand the Nuggets are the favorite. There's no doubt that they're the favorite. I'm not going to ignore these other great teams in the West because there is great teams from 2 to 6 in the West, sometimes 7, 8. Lakers are in that bracket right now that I think are.
I just can't talk
Great
about them
teams.
because we're 0-8.
You think the Lakers are a great team?
Their offense has been exceptional recently.
I think they
We're
could be
an
a great
elite
playoff
offense.
team.
Yes, I agree. This is why it's the roller coaster of the NBA season. We have times where we,
If we stay on the
but
opposite,
the West is great.
If we stay on the opposite side of the bracket, Hell, we can make a WCF run again.
Yeah, it's
we'll
just,
lose.
every team has
in the
had their
WCF.
moments. I just think consistently what's been like great on both ends, not both ends, but what's been great all year has been Denver and OKC. They've been pretty consistent.
That's why I say.
So I don't
give
know.
constant praise to OKC,
like the
but
Clippers,
even still in that
the Clippers
series,
have had a moment
I like
this year.
Denver.
Dallas is having their moment now. The Pelicans had their moment. Minnesota was having their moment. All these teams that we're talking about is really like those group of four. They've all had their moments where you can see the highs, and then they have their moments where you see the lows of the lows. So it's really about which high do you believe in the most, and if you believe in that, just talk about that specific high compared to others, because they've all been inconsistent.
Some highs happen sooner rather than later.
I mean, yeah, if you play the Jazz twice and the Spurs and shit, of course your high is gonna happen at the point.
I would say that the Clippers on the high right now. They're kind of in the middle.
That's fine. The Suns are at the bottom of the barrel.
No, I'm asking you. They're in the middle or are they high?
I'm pretty sure we had a topic about it, and I put them at 5 or 6. Yeah.
Right.
Let me ask you.
That's a first round series.
But I've never thought they would just come out the first round.
No,
easily.
I know. I'm just saying.
I've never thought that.
Can I ask the table? Pelicans versus Mavs. Let's say it's a first round playoff matchup. What does that series go, and who's the winner?
Mavericks in 6.
I would probably say Mavericks in 6 as well.
Oh, that's actually kind of tough. Zion should average 35.
He should dominate.
I'd take Dallas in 7.
I'm thinking 7-game series as well. At that point, coin flip, and if you want to take Luka, that's fine. I just mean in the sense of if you're struggling in a first round against the Pelicans, who are a great team in their own right, a really good team, and BI, who knows what happens with him too. If BI doesn't play, that's why I will lean Mavs right now. But if BI is healthy and ready to go by playoff time, which is a strong possibility, the Pelicans can win that matchup.
I don't believe in coin flips in Game 7.
I believe in probably Luka over Zion.
I think the best player should come out.
Which is why I say Luka. But a Game 7 coin flip, it is Game 7.
I don't think you went into Game 7
with
with LeBron and ever thought this is a coin flip.
Okay.
But if OKC and the Lakers
I'm
match
just saying,
up,
like you never
Say
did
it
that.
one more time?
OKC and the Lakers match up in the first round, can't that be a 7-game series too?
It can.
So I mean, what's the
I mean,
difference? Every matchup,
like there-
That's not a great matchup though.
I feel like there have been times this year where you said you'd pick the Lakers in that series.
Again,
I
I
think he
would.
still believes that.
I would.
There's just tough matchup. Just because
But
you
that's
have
a tough matchup for OKC.
Just because you have a tough first round matchup,
and we've
doesn't
also
make you any
but
better or
we've
worse as a
dominated
team, though.
OKC this season.
The Pelicans don't have any center that can realistically be out there for a large majority of the minutes. Jonas Valanciunas will get played off the court relatively quick.
Zion's been a really good help side defender.
No, he has been.
That defense just all year long.
Dallas doesn't have an answer for Zion.
They don't.
Oh, they have paint protectors though.
That could possibly get in foul trouble. That's why
They could.
Jonas
They
is
have
going to
two
be
of them,
tough.
But Luka in that series is the best player. Kyrie's the second best player.
Debatable.
You said that too easily.
Debatable. It's
That was the only thing that caught me by surprise. Zion
I mean, well,
and
he
Kyrie's
thinks he's
close.
better than Kawhi, so I would.
But we
I
didn't
would
take that
expect
serious. I thought.
No, I
that's
said
part
there's
true.
the gap between Kyrie and Kawhi is closer than the gap between Kawhi and Luka.
Yeah, we didn't.
It's
We
astronomical.
didn't take that
Luka and
serious. They're
Kawhi.
both astronomical, so it didn't even matter.
No, but with I think Kyrie is better than Zion. Zion, he got to add more to his offensive arsenal. Like I don't know if
Would
we
you tell
can
that
just.
to Giannis?
He's not Giannis. Giannis is
Similar
5
way of
inches
scoring,
taller
though. Similar ways of scoring.
and faster and stronger.
Is he
I
stronger?
don't know about that part.
Giannis is his presence on the court
You might have lost me
is
with that
more
one.
noticeable
The
than
strongest
Zion's.
player in the league outside of Steven Adams is probably Zion.
I mean, they're both like top 5. We don't really got.
I know, but I'm just saying the reason why Zion is such a dominant force in the paint. One, it's maybe even more impressive that he's that efficient at that size. Because you mentioned the 6-inch difference in size.
Damn.
That was him. You mentioned the size difference and the fact that he's still
Girth
as efficient. You're nuts.
Who's girthier?
Zion. Come on, you see him? He's hockey.
Giannis is thicker than Zion.
By far.
100%. 100%.
Definitely.
There's no way that
Factual.
you look at them in the same corner and say Zion is
beefy.
thicker than Giannis.
He's no.
Zion is thicker than him.
No.
That's facts. He's more
Oh, wait,
wide
hold
than
on.
him.
Pause. Wait.
He's more
Zion.
No, Zion's thicker.
Giannis is more
Zion's
wide
thicker.
than
Yeah, Zion's 100% thicker. We're here.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Giannis is more wider. Yes. He's taller.
He's taller. That's all it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
his
a fact.
shoulders are fucking nuts. Yeah.
Brother, have you seen Zion recently?
I mean, I've seen Zion. So you're getting this animated about the Pelicans, but yeah, you wanted
what do
to
we
just
mean
discount
animated?
the
I'm
Mavericks.
just
You
talking
wasn't even
about
talking
Zion.
Listen, what the thing with Zion is
Don't
that
fucking try and turn the shit on me.
Zion
I'm too
hasn't-
good for that.
Top of the list. Here we go. Lock in.
Zion hasn't played in the playoffs.
Damn, what is the topic? Damn,
chatting right
we
now,
are just
man.
chatting.
Well, it's just the weekends of what happened in the NBA. There's a lot of things that
It's
happened.
been great basketball recently.
bro. We're still on that.
with
We're still.
I almost spit out.
we
my
really are
Gatorade.
because we ain't talking about the Mavericks.
Because we talk about the Spurs. I mean,
Zion has
did
not
for like
been in
40
a
minutes.
Zion has not been in a playoff series yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's not
neither
been
is SGA, but we love SGA.
SGA has been in a playoff series, not as a superstar, not as a guy,
I think
And-
that's a good matchup.
but
for Dallas, though.
SGA in the playoffs when he played.
For
both teams. Both teams.
I also just think both
Herb
their
Jones
games
is tough,
translate,
but
but
I
I
think he
have more
doesn't
faith
have
in
the size.
SGA's translating.
That's what Luka.
to play
Yeah,
defense.
he's still a little too skinny.
Ooh,
SGA is much better than
Yeah.
Zion offensively. He could do much
of
more
course,
things.
that's not a question.
I mean, with SGA when he was in the playoffs,
OKC's a better team.
SGA got to his spots. He just didn't make outside jump
Close to the
shots.
bubble. They didn't really count.
Zion's gonna get to
count.
his
It
spots.
counts, but
It's probably gonna go in.
SGA, his jump shot is what needed clear improvement from that point on. He improved on that. You know, the looks and the way he
SGA's
got his shot off,
top
it
7
was
player in
always
the
there
world.
in that playoff series. That's why I think the transition will be easier with Zion when you don't have any form of offense outside of a couple feet from the basket.
Well,
it's
scoring.
gonna be
No,
hard.
no.
Well, Herb is a
You can
tough
say
matchup
scoring
for
because he can
They
pass
play
the
the
ball.
Pelicans.
Yeah. Okay.
He can play make.
Scoring.
Yes.
Scoring.
Yes.
All of his shots are in the paint, 99% of them. That is very hard for me to just be like, you will go into the playoffs straight up and just dominate, and there will be no bumps in the road. Because for every dominant paint force that wasn't a freak of nature like Shaq, who's 7'2" and 300,
Zion is
there
a
have
freak
been
of nature.
struggles in the playoffs because you can scheme around
How
that.
many people have we seen built like Zion?
Zion and Shaq are two different.
He's also
ways
7
they're
feet tall.
No, I understand this, but I'm saying in
He's
terms
probably
of
just as bouncy. I'll be honest. Shaq
just really.
I'm exaggerating, but
okay.
Shaq was a bounce.
Yeah,
Like,
no, Shaq had crazy bounce for sure.
Like, I think Zion is awesome, but we just can't shoe in that he's going to be anywhere close to Luka in this series.
Oh, of course not.
Or,
of course not.
You know,
But
really
the
that's
team
lost
of the
track of the
Pelicans.
conversation.
No, that Pelicans versus Mavs. I just asked that question real
Does
quick.
this Pelicans team have Brandon Ingram?
Yes.
It's tough. Ooh.
it makes it a tougher matchup, but I think the Mavericks still win.
Holy fuck. Who's guarding BI?
The Pelicans
PJ.
defense is amazing.
Derrick
No, they're a
Jones?
great
They are the
team.
same.
Derrick Jones.
Derrick Jones is a defender.
Because Trey has
PJ.
figured it out recently, and Herb has been awesome all season long.
He locks in. He
And
can
if
lock- he can
most
lock- he can guard
improved
Kyrie.
was a role player award, that would be the winner right there. A Herb Jones. I said if it was a role player award,
Jalen Johnson's a role player.
I would still argue Herb.
Derrick
Kobe
White's
White
role
clear.
player.
Isn't Kobe White a role
Is
player?
that, would you say he's a role
I don't know.
player?
He's not a role
He
player.
I don't
kinda
even know
is.
what
I feel like
we
he's-
turned
he's
this shit
your
into.
star.
He was a role player turned to a star. I
He's
feel
your
like
star.
that's
DeMar
the bullshit.
DeRozan is their star.
He is. Low end. Low end.
Well,
Kobe starts with
who's the
two.
number one option on your team now?
It's Kobe. It's still DeMar at times, though.
Okay.
Clutch.
Well, I know
still.
clutch, it's DeMar.
But I'm saying Kobe went from
But
good player.
I say
star.
that with the fact of Trey has been hitting recently. Good defender. Great defender. Herb, elite defender. I mean, the 3-point shooting on the
Too
Pelicans
skinny
is
for Luka.
great. That's
Both of
fair.
them.
That's fair. I mean, no one's stopping Luka.
And then in the pick and roll, Zion to get torched. He's terrible in the pick and roll defense.
But again, if you
And then
take that same,
Valanciunas, he's gonna have to like go bye in like 3 minutes.
what's your opinion on Herb Jones on Kyrie?
I'm fine with that. Just let Luka work. I think
That's
Hope
what I
can
mean.
can guard. Kyrie.
Is that their best chance of winning?
I don't know what their best.
I don't know.
You know.
So we had this debate this whole time. Their best chance of winning is I don't know.
No, that's what he said.
Oh,
What do you
my
think?
bad. I told you. I'm
We
taking
said
the Mavs.
Mavericks
I
in
said
six,
Mavs in
pretty
I
much,
six.
also
yeah.
said the Mavs
Yeah.
7 though. Yeah. Then
So you're going with the Pelicans.
Again, I think it's a 7-game series. I would take Luka in that situation. But I'm saying it's not.
So if
But
it doesn't go to
according to
7.
you,
This
though,
is a
it's-
long.
According to you, though, it's not really worth talking about because they're not a threat to Denver regardless.
Oh, correct though.
So it's not worth talking
100%.
about.
I don't think
So-
he ever wants to talk about Dallas. So.
Oh no, I'm happy to. I know they love it. But again, I know that the Mavericks fans are listening to this podcast, and I get it. You're a fan. You're supposed to believe your team's going to win a championship. But I'm a Laker fan. If we see Denver, we're not winning shit. I
Moral
think
of the
they need
story
to
is
keep that.
all these
They need
teams
to be be
can go far and
realistic.
lose.
I don't
First round,
think
too.
I don't think Mavericks fans think they're going to win the championship. I just think that
Okay.
they're one of the best
Got
teams
it.
in the West.
I'm interested to see how you guys respond. You better keep that same energy because I'm going to laugh at you guys next podcast.
Instead of hot take, Dehls.
Well, if they go in the comments,
man.
you got to back them up.
No, for sure. You have to. You're the Mavericks guy.
But I don't think any Mavericks fan is saying we're going to win a championship.
Let's see what the comments say.
Shit.
No, they're saying we're one of the best teams in the West, though. They
I mean,
are.
you're one of the best teams in the West.
Pizza.
They are.
But
What do you mean? Throwing a peace party over
we
being
understand
competitive.
Denver is so damn good.
Yeah, but if you feel
The
like
Knicks are one of the best teams in the East. Are they going to go to the championship? No.
ask Knicks fans.
No,
Talk.
I don't think many. I don't think many Knicks fans
No.
realistically think they're going to the finals or winning the finals.
I think we have an outside chance, but nobody's shooing them in. I mean,
Outside
yes,
chance
it's
is cool.
it's
Outside chance comes
of
from
course
fans.
For the Mavericks, it's going to be an uphill battle. The reason why they get mad at you is because you don't
Outside chance comes from fans.
because you're not acknowledging that they're one of the best teams in the West. That's why they're mad at you. And they are.
Well, the Knicks are different. They're
what,
like a top 3 seed.
They're what they
You're
are
not talking
right now.
about
Top 5, top 6 teams in the
fine.
West.
But when healthy,
That's
they're
what
one
I'm
of the
saying.
best teams in the West, though. When healthy.
Again, top 5, top 6.
No, when healthy, their win percentage is top 4 in the West.
Let me look at this
Again,
when
so
healthy
one
stuff, 'cause if
difference.
It's like 12
one
games,
spot
man.
difference.
Well, that's
where the
a
Knicks are.
huge spot difference. That's the 5th seed between the 4th seed with the Clippers. That's a pretty significant
But with the
gap.
West, again, with playoff basketball, with the with the players that we have in our league, again, Riv mentioned it early on, how amazing 1 through 10. I would probably go 2 through 10. Just that there's anything that can happen.
Are you a stat muse?
Yes.
What's the win percentage?
31 and 15. It's not telling me.
Okay, 31 plus 15 is 46. So 31 divided by 46.
35. Or 31? 31.
You said 31 wins?
31, yes.
Yeah.
31 divided by 46. 67% win percentage. That's higher than the Clippers, behind the Thunder, Nuggets, and Wolves. And that's higher than the Clippers by 4%. They're at 63%, the Clippers are. So Mavericks when healthy, 31 and 15. This is a plus 50 win team.
Well,
it's a great
if we
team.
said if the Clippers are healthy, right? Like we've seen Harden miss some time. Paul George had missed some time also. Right? I mean, we could play this game for everyone. If the Lakers were healthy all season long.
You guys were.
No, we're not.
No, you're
I'm
two
tired of
stars.
saying
What's
Yeah,
the
we
Lakers'
were.
record when
LeBron
they
and AD.
have LeBron, AD, and Torian Prince? That's
No,
the filter for you.
It's Rui Hachimura. Respect him.
Okay, we're talking about them not having their second star. That's huge.
Clippers are 37 and
The Mavs.
19 when their big 3 plays.
37 and 19. Sounds like about the same win percentage as
Yeah. So
37 plus 19. What's that?
my bad, I
56?
divided. 37 plus 19, 56. That's a 66 win percentage. So that's below the Mavericks. With when they.
I thought you just said 64. Am I tripping?
No, 67% for the Mavericks.
Got it.
When they're
Who was injured on the Lakers?
We lost Gabe Vincent almost immediately.
That's huge. Wow.
We lost
All right.
Cam Reddish. That was huge
We're
for us
at an
defensively.
hour and 46
And the biggest
minutes.
loss of them all, Jared Vanderbilt. That's
How
killed
many
our
topics
defense.
are we cutting? Let's just get
Well, listen, I feel like the entire NBA went outside of Embiid return we could cut. Maybe Jaylen Brown just hit him. I like these fourth quarter numbers. Let's rank the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
So that and Embiid. We'll call it that.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The top 10
We
quarterbacks
did basically
in the NFL.
just talk about almost the entire
Before we get into
NBA.
that,
Yeah, we did.
Honestly, we talked about the Spurs. We talked about
before
the
we
Mavs.
get into that,
I guess
we're
the
already
Clippers
stuck
should-
on NBA, and I want to
gotta
ask
say-
the Embiid fan a question. So let's just
So let's just
let's close the show with
NBA.
NFL. I agree.
yes, let's close the show. Just to keep it, somewhere up. But the Embiid fan right here, I want to ask him a question.
You know what? Thank you.
You did take that flag earlier in
needed
the
it.
year.
And it
He
broke my
was
heart.
number
Oh,
one
my
MVP
God.
guy.
Unbelievable.
He was unbelievable. Had a little playmaking jump. We were hoping and praying it translated in the playoffs. We were thinking maybe he'll be healthy for this time.
I prepared for this one.
Unfortunately, boom, went down with an injury.
Tragic.
Definition of an MVP, this team has been garbage since he's been out.
13 and 27. Well, now 14 and 27.
Yeah, so
They
this
won
team has
yesterday.
not been good, not looked like a top 3 seed they were when Embiid was playing. The roster was nice. Maxey was playing out of this world. You had Kelly Oubre, who had a little resurgence. Then they picked up Buddy Hill, which would have been huge if Embiid was playing. My question to you, Mr. Andrew Velez.
Yes,
Embiid is coming back this week.
correct.
What is your expectations for him going into the playoffs? Do you think he'll be ready for you? Do you think he'll be healthy? How much blame would you give him if the injury has seemingly dropped him off yet again?
I love that you added that last part.
Hawks are up 14 on the Bulls.
Wait, who? What?
Hawks are up 14 on the Bulls.
I'm still 2 ahead of them.
1.5.
That's perfect.
Suns are cooking the Pelicans right now.
E-Book's got 50.
I hate that. I say I hate that because I need us to jump.
He really does.
Doesn't he own them?
No, who? D-Book?
Yes.
That's 48.
He's nuts.
7 games against the Mavericks, though.
Now, I'm glad you added that last part. And again, like I said, I prepared for this one. Kind of spoke to myself a little bit because I don't think there's a lose situation for Joel Embiid here personally. And why I think that is there's no way you can convince me that the Philadelphia 76ers would send Joel Embiid out there if he wasn't at least close to 100%.
Kate had 36.
Again,
Let's lock in, fellas.
I would not. There's no way you can convince me that the Sixers are sending Joel Embiid out there if he wasn't near 100%. He is the franchise. He means way too much to this organization to risk any long-term effects to his career. You understand how great he was when the season first started. Their win percentage while he was playing was 77%. They have dropped to 34%, 14 and 27, like I mentioned, while he's been out. There's no lose scenario for him here because he's already missed almost 3 months of basketball. If he goes into the first round matchup and he's the 8th seed and has to go against the Boston Celtics, we already know the Boston Celtics are favored in this matchup. Even let's say Joel Embiid's playing some great basketball, one that can only help Embiid, but even when Joel Embiid's playing good basketball against the Celtics, it doesn't seem to matter. The Celtics have always had the Sixers numbers. But again, in that scenario, let's say he plays bad, they lose, you were expected to do that, and you just came back from injury. It's all right. But again, I'm not necessarily saying that it's overly all right. You are the MVP, you should perform, but there's at least a good, obvious excuse for that. Now, let's say Joel Embiid comes back, and now he's playing some great basketball. Now you upset the Miami Heat in that play-in game. Now you're playing the Milwaukee Bucks. You're telling me there's not a chance that the 76ers can win in that playoff series if Joel Embiid's at 100%? Because what history has shown us is the 76ers play the Milwaukee Bucks very well. And Joel Embiid, for a majority, performs at an extremely high level against the Milwaukee Bucks as well. We've already spoken about how Milwaukee's defense has been extremely lackluster. But again, there's no real pressure on Embiid in this run. He can go out there and play pretty pressure-free. I understand that the league we live in and the league we watch is so narrative-driven, and I understand that there's going to be a lot of pressure on him from media, from a lot of just any type of media outlets. There's no real pressure. He's missed 3 months of basketball. What are we really to expect? I get it. He's the MVP. I'm anticipating he plays well. Because, again, the Sixers are not sending him out there if he isn't at 100%. But he can only benefit from this. There's no negative that can be taken out of this. Really, that's the truth.
I wish Joel Embiid was healthy all year because probably would have won MVP. But not only that, the ending to the Eastern Conference would have been entertaining. Because when Joel Embiid played, they were 26-8, 76% win percentage. Boston's at 78%. So really, the gap between how both those teams were in the standings, it would at least have been manageable down the stretch of the season to maybe catch up is all I'm saying. And we probably would have had a better idea of what Philly can do as a team. Because I think with the level that Embiid was playing at before going down, giving you 35, a double-double essentially, the improvement as a passer, I'm not going to rule out, if Embiid is fully healthy, beating the Boston Celtics. Because Joel Embiid was that good.
Can't do all that.
If Joel Embiid is 100% healthy, I don't think in the first round, outside of narratives, it matters who they play in the first round. Because the goal for them is to win a championship. It ain't to get past the first round, the second round. The goal is to get to the conference finals and then go to the championship. You're going to have to see one of the Bucks or the Celtics in that scenario regardless. So whether they face the Bucks in the first round or the Celtics in the first round, I don't think it matters. The Bucks are the more favorable matchup, though. I think it's not only their lack of defense, but I think the lack of star power you're getting from Dame. You know, it's not the same that you thought you were getting. You thought you were getting a top 20 player. You kind of got a top 30 player. Still great, but there's a tier. There's a gap between the level of play you thought you were going to get. I think the Sixers would have been one of the best teams in the league if Joel Embiid stayed healthy. And I feel as if he is healthy, fully healthy, we can't look at this team like just an 8th seed or 7th seed team. This is one of the best teams in the league. And the addition of Buddy Hield to this roster was huge. A 40% three-point shooter with Tyrese Maxey, the depth they have. I mean, they have a legitimate roster. And if you believe Nick Nurse is going to maximize his players, then there is a real belief that this team can do something. That's why it sucked when Embiid went down, because it essentially tarnished all semblance of hope that this team could do anything of substance this year. But the fact that Embiid is back, it now gives them a chance and hope to do that.
If they just weren't terrible with Joel Embiid out, which is 13 and 27 and averaging under 108 points per game, there's a world where the 76ers could be a 6 seed or a 5 seed, and now all of a sudden you're playing the Knicks in the first round or the Magic in the first round, and you probably feel a lot better about those matchups. Going up as you're in the plane right now, 7 seed, maybe you could get up, or right now you're at the 8 seed actually, very unlikely you're going to move up to the 6 seed and secure a top 6 spot. you're going to have to play either the Heat or the Pacers in the first round, or excuse me, in the play-in for the first game. If you win that game, then you get the 7th seed and get the Bucks, which I agree is a favorable matchup. If you lose, which would be the winner of the Hawks and Bulls, which is one of the more fascinating storylines of the season that we haven't been talking about, you would likely beat them. But then you go up against the Boston Celtics. And you could talk about, that you think it's not favorable, but there's a chance that the 76ers can win that matchup against Boston. I have a hard time believing that, unfortunately. I think you made some good points. Joel Embiid, when he's healthy and he's on, he probably would have been the MVP this year. The staggering distance between being the second best team in the NBA by far compared to a middling team, actually a terrible team without Embiid, 13-27. He's that fucking good. But we've seen year after year, the Philadelphia 76ers go up against Boston, and year after year they come up short. Although Porzingis has been talked about as, the biggest addition in this past offseason, Al Horford has defended Embiid very well. Embiid's going to get his points, but it's going to be on poor efficiency. He's going to be working through it. Al's going to be able to, body him up down low in the post. Again, Embiid's going to get his, but as long as we make him inefficient, which Al has done against Embiid, he's even done it against Giannis in the past too, that's really all you could ask for. So if Embiid is inefficient, and now I have Drew Holiday, I got Jaylen Brown, Tatum to guard Tyrese Maxey and Buddy Hield, with all due respect to them, I'm looking on the other side as well. Those are the two who is guarding the Jays. Who is going to guard Tatum every night? Who's going to guard Jaylen Brown every night? It'd be interesting to see what do with Porzingis, with Embiid, because you're going to have 5 shooters out there at most times. So he's going to get dragged out of the paint. And who do you put him on? Do you put him on Drew potentially to try to keep him closer to the paint? But Drew's been one of the best 3-point shooters in the league this season.
No one's guarding me.
So it's a really difficult matchup, I think, for the Sixers. I'm happy Embiid's coming back because it's going to make the playoffs interesting. But they really, in my opinion, have to win that play-in matchup and go up against the Bucks.
Joel, you always find a way to hate, man.
What do you mean? I've been saying the Sixers was a threat, but before Embiid went down, they were.
It's no shot they're a threat right now, unfortunately, and I hate that it has to be that, because I do think if Joel Embiid was healthy, we would have got a really good series between both those teams. But the Boston Celtics are just too good, especially with Embiid coming back. They said as soon as tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely this week, him being rusty.
What if he drops 40?
On who?
Tomorrow. I don't know who they're facing. What if he drops 40?
That'd be lit.
What if down the stretch of the season, Joel Embiid is back to MVP level?
Then we're going to see a 6-7 series and Boston wins.
Well, if he's that good, you probably win the play-in. You're the 7th seed. You play the Bucks.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm cool with them playing the Bucks. It's tough. Just asking a player of that magnitude to come in and with this team, who they play?
OKC. It's not impossible, but
Didn't he give?
yeah,
Yeah,
can.
he can
Yeah.
he can kill shot.
Or something.
Yeah.
But I
A
think
minute restriction, he'll definitely get 20.
yeah, it's just it's tough. This team was not good when Embiid was out, and I know it's hard to really just substitute a MVP level 30-point per game scorer like that into your rotation. But the Sixers team, even Maxey just looked lost without him. Just as being efficient, getting to their spots. They didn't have a go-to scorer. Maxey is not a playmaker at that level yet. I do think the Bucks seem like the favorable matchup because they haven't played their best brand of basketball. Damian Lillard hasn't been, the player you want him to be. The defense has been kind of whatever. But I just don't know. I feel like that's asking, because Embiid already received slander from his playoff droughts. He already comes in. He's not healthy. Coming in fresh off an injury, against a team like the Bucks or against a team like Boston, whoever it might be, even in a play-in, that's now you got to go through the play-in, which whether you play the Heat or the Pacers or whatever, that's still going to be tough. Then you got to go into a series, play one of them top teams in the East. I just think that's too much to ask of him at this point in the season. He hasn't played basketball in damn near 3 months. He's already going to be a minutes restriction coming back. So realistically, his first couple games are just going to be the whatever games. It's going to be the games that gear him up. I don't know. Me personally, I feel like that's too tough to ask of him. I know that'd be a great legacy story to say, yeah, came back, started buck. I remember Jimmy Butler did that. He was on meniscus. He was on Minnesota. Tore his meniscus, I believe. They were a 5th seed. This was the year they got Wiggins. And
is that the year they lost in the first round?
Yes, they ended up playing the Rockets. Jimmy Butler just came back.
Yep.
Turned the playoffs. He didn't play. He didn't look at all like Jimmy Butler, but that was him rushing because they dropped over. They dropped to the 6-7 seed or something like that, or maybe even lower, maybe the 8th. But that was a similar situation where Jimmy rush to come back. He was a little rusty, because the team needed saving. And, I don't know if Embiid is rushing to come back. I know he's excited to come back. But for me, that's just too much to ask him.
Yeah, another example could be the Lakers. When LeBron was coming back from an ankle injury that year that we lost to the Suns in round 1, where AD also was coming back from injury. He'd been more healthy than LeBron down the stretch of the year. And then when AD goes down, LeBron wasn't in game shape to take over that series like people were just waiting for it to happen because he is LeBron James. You need to get in basketball shape, which is why I really like that we're going to get around 2 weeks of Joel Embiid getting in basketball shape, which is why you can feel at least a little bit more confident of him getting into that playoff mode. But again, there should really be as little pressure as he's ever had in his career as a superstar going into this playoffs, because he just needs to do the best that he can, and that could either be the MVP that we saw earlier on in this season, or, oh man, he's still not ready for game shape, and unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late for him to return. He can only benefit himself, honestly, in this one. And if fans really take a shot at him again for this, they need to take a look in the mirror and understand, hey, what this guy was doing early in the season, I mean, this epitomizes MVP. When you go from one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference to being in contention for a play-in game. That's really a drastic difference. To give your team less than 10 wins when you go out and they lose almost 30 while you've been gone, it emphasizes why Joel Embiid's impact is as great as it is. No one ever should question it either.
Has it been 30 games?
They've lost 27, almost 30 games.
Because I thought they were 10-16 since Embiid went out.
Without him.
Because they were 26-8 with him.
This season, they are 26-8 with him. They were, without him, 14-27.
Okay.
I had 14 facts, 14-27.
14-27.
Because they won yesterday, that's why it's 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's played 34 games, he's missed 41.
Yeah. I'm thinking about just after he went out rather than the games he missed while he was still healthy.
I'm with you.
Of course.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's fair.
This week in the NFL NBA, then we're going to get into ranking the top 10 quarterbacks. I have 2, really. LaMelo Ball is out for the season. We talked about him a little bit. And I feel like probably too soon to be having a conversation on LaMelo on whether or not the Hornets should maybe look to move him. But the injury history is pretty scarce. And they do have to just find a better way for him to stay healthy on the court, whether that's changing the sneakers up or a better health regimen, whatever it is. He's just missing too much time, and I understand the Hornets are just terrible right now, but he got to play, because if he plays, this team is much more exciting. And then Dak Prescott, extension talks. He's lining up to get $50, $60 million on the open market. I feel like the Cowboys, it doesn't matter what pathway they choose, they're going to regret either one. If they choose the pathway,
screwed either way.
Yes. If they choose the pathway of paying Dak, they're never going to win. Because it's just going to be hard to build a roster around him. That's really the biggest reason. It's not because Dak is not great.
They did it once already, though.
Once what?
In terms of on a good amount of money on our salary cap, we put together a roster that was at least possible for you to play some winning playoff game, play meaningful playoff games and win in them.
They haven't made the NFC Championship game.
But that also has been due to the fact of Dak not being as good in some of these moments. And realistically, that's really it.
Well, this year was Dak not being good in the defense. It was those two things. And the defense, the run defense isn't good because you can't really pay marquee players to come to your team because you're paying Dak so much.
But then 2 seasons in a row when you were one of the best teams in the 3 seasons in a row in the regular season when you're one of the best teams in the league, you go into the playoffs 2 years in a row, you lose to San Fran, and then this past season you go and you lose to a Packers team that you should have won.
Dak wasn't good in either of those games.
And all 3 of those games he wasn't good.
The Cowboys are cheap. Jerry Jones talks about how he wants to win. He doesn't really care about that. He cares about his bottom line. And I say that because
excuse me,
Amari Cooper, there's no way in hell he should have ever left Dallas.
That was one of the moves. They don't talk about it enough.
If Amari Cooper stayed in Dallas, then we're talking about a team and an offense that can actually compete with the best defenses in the league. It can't now because you ice out CD out the game, and now it's very easy to cover everybody else on that field. So I think if they extend him, it's going to be tough to build a roster, especially with how cheap Jerry Jones is. And if they let him walk, I don't know if I trust the Cowboys to draft a quarterback and really draft the right one, is what I'm saying.
Well, you know who they have.
Mike McCarthy, the quarterback guru. You are right.
but
Or Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance, you're right.
I feel like they've had a quarterback my entire life.
They have.
They have
And
Tony
then some.
Romo, 6th round pick. Dak Prescott, 4th round pick. Jerry Jones wanted to draft Connor Cook over Dak Prescott.
Was Drew Bledsoe bad with them?
Definitely wasn't.
From what I remember, I
high-level
can't
starter.
remember.
He was definitely average. So I feel like they kind of looked into Dak and Romo, if I'm being honest. But yeah, they have had a quarterback for a long time. But I think it's just going to be difficult. The best pathway forward is probably just resetting and just building a great team around whatever young quarterback comes in. Because I think that's the best way to win in the NFL right now, unless you're Patrick Mahomes. Really, if you're not on that rookie quarterback contract, it's very hard to build a roster around you year in and year out. And if you're not one of the top 3, 4, 5 guys, quarterbacks in the league, it is very hard to maximize your window.
I have 2 this week in the NFLs.
I have one I flipped up.
The first one is going to be Jets trade for Hassan Reddick. Big move. Moved on from Bryce Huff in the offseason. They trade a conditional
miss him?
2nd round pick.
It was cool though.
But the conditions on the pick, I don't think it's going to happen because he has to play 65% of snaps and get 10 sacks. Just with the Jets rotation, I don't think he's going to be playing that amount of snaps. Quinnen Williams is the only defensive lineman last season who reached that mark. But Hassan Reddick is one of the best edge rushers in the class or in the NFL. He could also play the run too, which is probably the upgrade over Bryce Huff that they were looking for. Over the last 4 years, Reddick was 4th in sacks with 50, 11th in QB hits with 86, 8th in tackles for loss, and 9th in total pressures with 235. He's going to be a big upgrade for the Jets team. And if you look top to bottom, this is one of the best rosters in the NFL, in my opinion. I do think they could use one more weapon, which I expect them to take a number 10 overall. But if Aaron Rodgers, fingers crossed, is able to stay healthy, it's very hard to find a weakness on this team outside of offensive coordinator. My second this week in the NFL, I have the top 10 quarterbacks in terms of facing pressure. So this is going to be based off of PFF's passing grade. Not perfect, but there's really no perfect one stat to say who's good against pressure, who's not. So can you give me the 10 best quarterbacks under pressure from last season?
Jordan
Patrick
Love.
Mahomes.
Here we go. Patrick Mahomes was number 1.
That's obvious.
Jordan Love was number 9.
CJ Stroud.
Okay.
CJ Stroud, no.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua, no.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is number 8.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, no.
I didn't think so.
Josh Allen.
Is Joe Burrow eligible?
Burrow is number 6. He is eligible. Who'd you say?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, no. It's not as many quarterbacks as NBA players usually.
That's
so.
fine. Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, number 7.
Yep.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, number 3.
Yep. Great job.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, number 5.
Nice.
So you have 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're missing 2. We're missing 4. We're missing 10.
Herbert?
Justin Herbert's number 2.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford's number 10. You just need number 4.
We killed this.
Desmond Ritter.
Nope.
Come on.
You ruined it. With the
I know.
name.
We were fucking cooking. We just need number 5, you said?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Trevor Lawrence.
No.
I'm thinking.
I know.
Sorry,
I'm glad.
thinking.
I'm glad that we're trying to figure it out and not just blurt out a name.
Trevor Lawrence.
No,
Just
he just
said
said
that
Trevor. No.
What'd you say?
Apologize. Apologize, brother.
Geno Smith.
Baker Mayfield.
No.
Not a terrible guess though. Really.
I honestly don't even
By the
know.
way,
Do you know
Purdy
his number?
was 11. Josh Allen was 13. Tua was 14.
Okay.
Of course, it was the
Stroud,
rest of those
17.
guys.
Mac Jones?
No.
What are we doing? We're
I don't know where we're guessing. I'm just guessing. I missed the question.
okay. We're okay.
I completely missed the question.
It's
Oh my God, Jared Goff.
No. Jared
Oh,
Goff
no.
was actually
What is it?
22nd.
the
you're
question
right. That was
is
a pretty
quarterback
bad
best under pressure.
Oh. Okay.
Reggie just fucking goes and gets an
Right?
That would have been crazy, right?
I'm really trying to.
It's hilarious. Is it Russell?
No, definitely
Not
not.
Russ. Not Russ. He was 17.
That'd have been
5%.
so funny.
No.
It's definitely a high end starter.
Is it
Not a
high-
high-end starter.
Is it Gardner Minshew?
No.
Nah, it ain't him. He is the bottom of the league.
Is Mason Rudolph eligible?
I thought about Mason.
Is
Mason
Jake Browning
Rudolph,
eligible?
No. Both of them, no.
Pain.
Derek Carr.
No.
Bryce Young?
No.
Oh, come on, be serious.
Thank God there was one.
Noted. Keep the timestamp. 2 hours, 8 minutes. Episode 368 on it.
Okay, so AFC North. Russ, no.
Wait, said AFC North already? Oh, no.
Lamar, yes, was in it. Joe Burrow was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, there it is.
Cooked.
Number 4.
Great job.
So the top 10 was Mahomes, Herbert, Dak, Flacco, Lamar, Burrow, Cousins, Hurts, Love, Stafford.
All right, we cooked. Great job.
Would you rather?
Would you rather do mine and then the would you rather? Saved like the best for last.
Thought you did yours. Continue. Never mind. Don't have a would
All
you
right,
rather.
so it could be one or two. We could do both. Be fun. One could be if you guys can name the top 10 players who have made the most 3-pointers.
What was your other one?
And then the other is the league leaders in 3-point percentage. League leaders in 3-point percentage.
Is it harder?
Yes.
Let's do that one.
Okay.
Grayson Allen.
He's number 1.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday's number 3.
Steph Curry.
He is not on the list.
He's at 41.
Norman Powell.
He is number 4.
LeBron James.
He is not on the
Buddy
list.
Hield.
Buddy Hield is not on the list.
Draymond Green.
He is not on the
Right.
list.
All right, this one's getting a little tricky. Duncan Robinson.
He is not on the list.
Okay. Are you looking names up?
No, fuck. I had.
I'm looking at Draymond Green stats. Draymond Green is shooting 39% for 3. I thought you told me he was shooting at 43%.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Look at him.
LeBron was number 21.
Oh, okay.
He's shooting 41.6.
Sam Merrill.
Sam Merrill.
Great name.
Sam Hauser.
Bang. It's number 6. Merrill is not here.
Okay. That was a great name, though. He's a sniper.
It was, right?
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Jason Wallace.
Casey Wallace, number 9.
Good.
All right, at this pace,
Corey
we
Kispert.
can do number 2. We can do both. Corey Kispert, not on the list.
Isaiah Joe.
Isaiah Joe is not here, but number
Tyus
15.
Jones.
Tyus Jones is
Payne
not
Pritchard.
here.
You looked at me like it was the
Payne
same
Pritchard's
team.
not here. No, but you said
Corey Kispert.
Corey Kispert. Now, think of other white shooters
That's so many guys, bro.
Luke Kennard.
of his caliber. He probably Kispert's probably better.
Luke Kennard.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
number 2.
Okay,
okay.
all right. Shit.
He's
Jalen
shooting
Williams.
44.9. I should probably have said that. J-Dub is 43 at number 7.
So how many do we have left?
So you need number 8, you need number 5, and number 10.
Okay.
You guys are doing way better at this one than the clutch. Number 5, number 8, and number 10.
Okay.
Kevin Herter.
Hell no.
Not here.
I say hell no for.
I think he's struggling this
I
year.
just say it like that.
You know he's out for the year.
I know he is. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Uh,
Karl Anthony Towns, is he eligible?
He is eligible, but he is not on the list. Number 13 at 42.3.
That's a good pick.
Thanks.
pick.
Appreciate that.
I'm trying to think. I can't think right now.
Dante DiVincenzo.
Not here.
It's a good pick, too.
That is a great pick.
Malik Monk.
Malik Monk is not here.
Stink, fellas.
Gary Harris.
Not here.
Laurie Markkinen.
Not here.
Ben Shepard.
Not here.
Aaron
Allie.
Neesmith.
Aaron Neesmith, number 8. Who'd you say?
Allie.
Not here. Aaron Neesmith is number 8 at 43%.
You said Buddy Hield already, right?
I did.
He was not here.
Okay. What team does he play for?
I'm not going to do that yet. You guys have done way too well. You need number 5 and you need number 10. I think both of these guys, you guys are going to be upset at yourself.
Herb
CJ
Jones?
McCollum.
Herb Jones is not here, but he is number 12 at 42.3. CJ McCollum is not here.
These guys get minutes.
CJ is shooting 41.4 at number 23.
These guys get minutes.
They get minutes.
Okay. Just to make sure.
Kevin Durant.
No.
Beasley?
Kevin Durant is number 11, though.
Malik.
Beasley, number 10. Great job. 42.7.
So now we need just 8?
And KD's just off at 42.5. You just need 5.
5. Okay. Good cook. That was good cook. Clutch.
Well, you did clutch.
Clutch. Tobias Harris?
No.
Number 5, you said?
Yep.
5 is nuts.
Is
Dean
it a
Wade.
star?
No, not Dean Wade. Not a star.
Not a star.
East or West?
Duncan Robinson?
I'm not doing
Said
this.
him already.
Take your guess. Take your hint. That's
I need
it.
to look at the
Sorry, what did you
teams.
say?
You said not a star. He's not a star.
It's like 90% of the NBA.
Sorry. That was the question he asked.
I need to look at the state.
He's a shooter.
Clearly.
No, because there's some players that they're not great shooters, but they
He's
got
top
high
5.
percentage.
I mean, I don't know, man. This guy is shooting 43.4% from 3.
Michael Porter?
No.
Jonathan Ozzie shooting 40%.
Okay.
He's not eligible.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Hold up.
Ate that for bro.
Mike Conley.
Bang.
Nice.
Great job. All right, now, listen, you guys did that well enough, but let me reiterate. So, number 1, Grayson Allen, 47%. Number 2, Luke Kennard, 44.9.
Start over and say what this is.
We already know this. We don't have to do that. That was already early on.
Start over.
All right, this is the top 10 of the highest three-point percentage in the NBA this season. Grayson Allen, 47% from 3, number 1. Number 2, Luke Kennard, 44.9. Number 3, Drew Holiday at 44.7. Number 4, Norman Powell at 43.6. Mike Conley, number 5 at 43.4. Sam Hauser at number 6 with 43.3. Number 7, J-Dub at 43.1. Aaron Nesmith at number 8, 43 flat. Number 9, Cason Wallace, my guy, 42.7%. And number 10, Malik Beasley at 42.7. Now, we're going to do top 10 most three-pointers made this season.
Steph Curry.
Number 1 with 329.
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum. Number 6, 221.
Clay.
Luka Doncic.
Klay Thompson, 237, number 4. Luka
Trey.
Doncic, 257.
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield is not here.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr., not here.
LeBron.
Buddy Hield was number 11 at 204. And who'd you say?
LeBron.
LeBron is not here. Michael Porter Jr. is also number 11 at 204. Did you say
CJ McCollum.
I said Clay.
CJ McCollum is not here. Clay, I already gave you number 4. So you have number 1, Steph Curry. You have number 2, Luka Doncic. Number 4, Klay Thompson. Number 6, Jason Tatum.
Trae Young is not up there.
Trae Young is not here.
Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard is number 8 with 210.
Kyrie Irving.
He is not here.
Donovan Mitchell.
Grayson Allen.
Donovan Mitchell is not here. Grayson Allen is also not here.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker is also not here.
Kevin Durant.
He is not
Paul George.
here. Paul George, number 5, 229. You
Laurie?
meant he is not here.
Donovan Mitchell.
He said that and he's not here.
That's weird.
You mentioned CJ McCollum. He's number 18 at 195.
Jalen Brunson.
He's number 19 at 188.
Jaylen Brown.
J-Dub.
Jaylen Brown is not here. Jaylen Brown, he just said.
J-Dub.
Jaylen Brown. I apologize. No, he is not here. J-Dub is not here also.
Tyrese Halliburton.
He is not here.
You guys mentioned
Malik
Buddy
Monk
Hield already?
Yeah.
Malik Monk is not here.
It's a lot of
Kobe White.
Kobe White is number 15 at 200
Tyrese
flat.
Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey is number 17 with 196.
Jalen Green.
He's not here.
Mikal Bridges.
He's number 10 with 206 threes made.
So what are we missing?
So you need to tell me number 3. You need to tell me number 7. And this other guy is also tied for 8th.
Who are we missing at 3?
Anthony Edwards.
He's not here.
Kawhi Leonard.
He is not here.
Harden?
He is not here.
What you doing, Riff?
Texting.
Jalen Green, 25 with 181.
Desmond Bain.
Not here.
He was cooking.
Missed too many
lately.
time. It's too much time.
I'm going to go De'Aaron Fox.
Not here.
I feel like it's a star. Brandon Ingram? He doesn't
Nope.
take enough threes.
It's most three-pointers made, so it has to be high volume for sure.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not giving hints. You
Lauri
guys have been
Markkanen.
cooking. The answer is no.
Or, yeah.
I don't need no hints.
You don't.
Desmond Bain.
No, he missed too much
Said
time.
that twice.
I'm sorry, I'm just paying attention to my answers.
Let me see the team.
Um,
Tyler Hero.
Nope.
Anthony Simons.
Nope.
Fuck.
We are not cooking.
We haven't cooked in a minute.
Drew Holiday.
Nope.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Nope.
Malik Beasley.
Number 8.
There we go.
Tied with Damian
Thank you.
Lillard,
That's so
210.
So bad.
So you need to give me number 3 and number 7.
Max Strus.
Nope.
We're not cooking. We're not cooking.
Dante DiVincenzo.
I was going to say, some fan you are. Number 3, 249.
One more.
This one,
Tough.
hard.
Ball, you're on Ball Nor Watch if you
High
do this?
key.
All right.
This is, I sit down at night, and when all the games are done, I turn on YouTube.
Brandon Miller.
highlights. No.
I'm gonna cook. Don't
Wait, we turn on highlights for this player?
No. No. This is like real ball watchers hour. Like all the games are done. I watched them, but like, hey, let me watch them again.
That doesn't help.
That could mean East or West.
I'm just thinking like an
That's
ass
it.
team.
That's what I'm saying. I am too, but that can be. It's a
Gary
lot
Trent?
of ass.
No.
No. Malachi Branham?
Nope.
Wow, that's a crazy guess.
It has to be. Tyus Jones.
I'm going to go in this route. They're not ass.
That does not help.
They're not ass.
They're not ass. They're not amazing. Take that as you will. Only hint you're getting from me.
I wish these hints were a little bit better.
No.
I'll be honest.
No. They are not ass. They are not great.
Jordan Poole.
No. They're ass. The Wizards are ass.
Oh,
you said the team.
Yes.
I thought you meant the player.
Yes. No, this player is top 7.
Oh, okay.
We mentioned Kobe White already.
Yes, he was number 15.
Dylan Brooks.
Bogdanovic.
No. Riv, I knew it was going to be you, man. Number 7.
Atlanta.
Bogdanovic. Correct. 219 threes made.
Always come in clutch when it's needed. Would you rather? I'm back.
Do you want me to say this top 10 so I can sound professional?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
So the top 10 in order, just to reiterate, of most three-pointers made is Steph Curry, number 1, 329, never in doubt. Number 2, Luka Doncic, 257. Number 3, Dante DiVincenzo at 249. Number 4, Klay Thompson, 237. Number 5, Paul George, 229. Number 6, my guy to my right's blood brother, Jason Tatum, 221. Number 6, Bogdanovic, 219. Damian Lillard, number 8, 210. Tied with Dame at number 8, Malik Beasley, 210. And number 10, wrapping it out, Mikal Bridges, 206.
Did he say wrapping it out?
I should have just said wrapping it up.
He did, right? Oh, okay.
Sorry, mistake.
Not my fault. No, you're good. It sounded funny.
Wrapping it up, Mikal Bridges, number 10,
I get
206.
it. I get it. Would you rather? Would you rather? Kyrie Irving edition. We talked about it in the car.
Love this.
I had to cook up 12. No, I cooked up 13 names.
Okay.
So first name up, Ant-Man.
Would I rather have Anthony Edwards
what
or
do you
Kyrie as Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Would I rather? It's going to be Anthony Edwards, who's been better this season. I can argue Kyrie Irving.
I would also take Ant-Man. Tyrese Halliburton.
Kyrie Irving.
Right now it's Kyrie.
I would take Kyrie.
Oh yeah, it's
The
Kyrie.
mighty have fallen.
Shouldn't even
Oh my god.
I mean, Halliburton is he's
November
not
would've
healthy
been
right
so
now.
We've gone from
Smooth,
Steve
Hallie.
Nash to not being better than Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie is one of the greats.
One of the
He's
greatest.
supposed to be a top 75 player all time.
He's cooking.
He's supposed to be?
What do you mean? He is.
He
He's
wasn't.
supposed to
He
live.
wasn't.
pace.
Yes.
Oh, is he?
Ain't no on pace.
Kyrie was top 75?
He wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He
said
was
no
supposed to be. That's what I said.
Oh, cat.
Wait, he shouldn't have been in the top 75 of
Not
players?
Cat. Oh, I mean, we're counting not the old guys. Sure. I mean, there's a lot of guys I would go in before
Yeah.
Kyrie.
Some plumbers though.
Yeah. I respect that. If you talk about non-plumbers, he's better than a lot of
You're
plumbers.
taking Kyrie over Jerry West.
No. Good God. That's one of the few plumbers I'm not.
Okay.
Bob Pettit. See you later. Oh my God.
Bob
I'm saying Kyrie
Cousy,
over
though.
Jerry
I got to
West.
respect.
Okay.
Gotta respect. Next name up. Next name up, J-Dub.
Kyrie.
This is more of a question for you. You've been big on J-Dub, man.
Who would I rather have?
Yeah, don't lie.
J-Dub.
I know.
I'm going Kyrie Irving.
Can't wait for the comments to get you. Next name up, Trae Young.
I'm going Kyrie Irving.
I'll go Trae Young.
I respect that, and I think I'm also going Trae Young.
Okay. Next name up, Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
I'm done saying his first name.
De'Aaron Fox is that close, but Trae Young isn't that quick on
I
him?
know you were really fast with that one.
He's not. He's
That's
just
my
not a
answer.
Trey guy.
He's
He's up
not.
on the Trey guy. He used to be the Trey guy, man.
Fox
No, the epitome of the trade.
He was
guy.
the
best
the
point guard in
ones.
the league.
Yeah.
I think I would take. That's tough. I think I would take Kyrie.
I would also go Kyrie Irving.
Okay. Next name up, your guy, Domantas Sabonis.
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving.
PG.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie.
Jeez.
I don't answer stuff like this.
That's hard. I think I would go PG.
Next name up, Cat.
Kyrie Irving.
I would go Kyrie.
Now, interesting
Oh,
he says this.
I'm so good at what I do. I'm trying to tell
Now,
you.
do you want to know why he asked this? He asked me, is Anthony Edwards actually the best offensive player on his team?
He is.
Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Like 100%, no doubt about it.
I'm pretty sure he is. 100%.
Like it's not Karl Anthony Towns.
It's not Karl Anthony Towns. The efficiency might be better for Cat, but the better scorer is Anthony
Are
Edwards.
you just saying because he does it more, like more volume?
No, it's because I've seen how the offense looks when Cat is not playing and how much of an uptick Anthony Edwards takes his game to. He's
the
a
offense
better
gets worse.
He's a better offensive player and scorer than Cat.
The offense gets worse though.
If you're going to lose an all-star level player like that, the offense as a whole is going to get worse regardless. But
Good point.
Anthony Edwards' uptick in what he does is there. His production is there. He's just not getting much help from everybody else.
I'm going Kyrie Irving.
Okay. Rudy Gobert.
I'm also going to go Kyrie Irving.
This depends on what you need on your team.
Yeah.
So would you rather?
That's tough.
What
I guess
would you
if I'm the
rather?
Timberwolves, would I rather Rudy Gobert or Kyrie? I'd
I'm
rather
saying your
Gobert.
team, Joel Moran's
I'd probably
team.
take
What
Gobert.
would you rather? I feel like you can find Kyrie's.
I'd take
Can't really
Gobert.
find Rudy's like that, you know?
It's hard to find Kyrie's too.
No, they're both hard, of course. But I think
Month
finding
of
a guy who
March
can just
has not been kind to Anthony Edwards' jump shot.
I feel like this. I'm gonna go with Kyrie.
interesting. That's tough. Next name up, Zion.
Kyrie Irving.
No thought.
No, Kyrie Irving's
You
better
think
right
high
now.
of Kyrie?
Well, Kyrie Irving he's one of the most efficient 3-level scorers in the game right now.
I think I would take Zion.
Going Zion Williamson.
Brandon Ingram.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving.
Just gotta, give my boy some love in some of these would you
Respect
rathers,
that.
Next name up, the fake JB, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
I'm going with Jaylen Brown.
Respect the real JB.
And now the real JB, Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Both
Jimmy Butler.
JBs.
And Jalen Brunson, if you can throw that one in too.
I did it. I
Okay.
should have though. That was
It's
your
Jalen Brunson.
All the JBs.
Yes,
all,
it is Jalen
all
Brunson.
the JBs
I should've,
are better.
But then I would have to put James Bucknight.
Okay.
Couldn't do that. So, but JB, yeah. So that's it. For me, I would take Kyrie. I would take Ant over Kyrie. I would take Kyrie over Hallie. I would take Kyrie over J-Dub. Trae Young over J-Dub. Trae Young over Kyrie. Fox over Kyrie. I lied. Kyrie over Fox. Kyrie over Sabonis. PG over Kyrie. Kyrie over Cat. Rudy over Kyrie. Zion over Kyrie.
Rudy over Kyrie.
Yes.
You're nuts.
B.I., I'm not taking him over Kyrie. I'll be honest, he won't be taken over anybody on this list. And then I'm taking both the JBs over Kyrie. Yeah, man, Rudy's defense, man, nuts.
I'm also thinking
He might win DPOY again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's the heavy favorite.
This is the last
Mad
time.
deserved.
This is the last time a player wins DPOY.
How you figure?
That's not Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, shit, I don't know. Rudy probably win that shit again next year, bro. I'll be honest.
If the Spurs weren't the worst team in the West, it would be his award.
Rudy's
They have
won
to
it.
make the playoffs.
I know.
Have to make.
Rudy has-
can't
Rudy
be
won it in
14
Utah.
seed.
I know, but they also were one of the best teams.
Offensively.
What do you mean?
Defensively, they didn't have, guys to really help
No,
Rudy.
but I mean they were the number one defense.
Because of him.
He was deserved.
Yeah.
But also they were the one seed.
No, I know, but I'm
Top
saying
four
is,
seed.
Minnesota has good defenders, but they really get uplifted. 'Cause,
No, for
Rudy's
sure. Rudy's amazing.
yeah,
he's an all-time
insane.
defender.
So ranking these top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, the criteria is really in a vacuum for me and how I did it. You guys could have done it differently. Maybe you wanted to do after the 2023 NFL season.
That was the
heading
the top.
into
It was.
heading into the season.
After the 2023 season, because we're
That's
going to
what the
have
topic
in
was.
August, we're going to have heading into the 2024 season.
I say that because there are some guys that they might got the numbers, but they don't belong in here.
No, two is top 10. What the fuck are we talking about?
Oh, you think it's
Unfortunately,
I
top-
two
don't
of them made
have-
my honorable mention list.
He didn't make
Fuck
mine.
you,
I didn't
man.
make that, though.
But thanks for at least putting him honorable mention.
Sure, he
It's,
deserves it.
I like that. At least
Honorable
mention
mention.
him.
Him.
I'm alone in this
Honorable
world
mention
on
means
this
they have a
side.
chance.
He's my honorable mention. Kyler's in
Well,
there.
that's his kind of criteria. If they don't have a chance, you don't mention him.
After the 2023 season, Kyler is also in my honorable mentions.
So why did you write the topic list after the 2023 season and
Same
then
shit broke
change
with
the
the
criteria when we get here?
J-Love just missed it, man.
That's not. You guys read it wrong. I said ranking the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
No, bro.
No,
no,
you
that's not what
changed
you
it. You
said.
changed it.
I will
It's been
take it out and
changed.
show you right
It's
now.
been changed.
After the 2023 NFL
You changed
season.
it.
I mean, look
Definitely.
at it. Is it changed? That's what it says for me. When's the last time it was even?
I told you,
touched?
this is why it
No,
was changed.
The last time we were supposed to do this, I think 2 shows ago,
Yes.
it was ranking quarterbacks after the 2023 season.
I haven't changed this since Friday.
Joel,
Yeah, well,
I'm
this
just letting
was
it be known, it
two
was
episodes
changed.
ago. We were supposed to do this topic.
Oh yeah, you're right. Let me
Yes.
see.
Brother, I just showed you what
Brother,
it
I'll,
was.
He doesn't believe you.
Just take my word.
Why? I don't rewrite the topics. I copy and paste them. Okay, Joel.
You are right.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. So how do you
So
want to do
listen,
this?
we could do it however we want. I really don't want to be too projection based in this list. But there are some guys that they didn't complete the entire NFL season, but they're clearly top 10 quarterbacks. That's why I say that.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
so-
insinuating Kirk Cousins?
Now I'm insinuating Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is top 10
absolutely.
easily. Really, with this, my top 10, it's just really my top 10. Like, taking into account last season, sure, but also seasons before that. This is my top 10 list. Like, as we stand right now, my projected list will be later on.
So Lamar is not top 3.
Lamar is not top 3. No, he's number 4 right behind Burrow. But if you want me to start, I'll start. Number 10.
We do all have the same, probably number 1 and number 2 if we want to, if we want to do that way. We don't? No. Oh, gosh.
We don't.
Respect it.
No.
I mean, number 10, I got Trevor Lawrence at number 10. That's my 10th spot.
After the 2020. Oh, you said that this isn't how you did it. So fair. But that's how I did it. So no, he is not in my top 10.
And I feel like that's the issue with nitpicking Trevor Lawrence, because his situation was so awful last year.
It was.
9 touchdowns dropped. Offensive line terrible.
Correct.
Running game, no running game to speak of. Offensive play caller holding the offense back.
Inconsistent. Because I feel like there was a stretch in the year where ETN was really.
Did go on a
Oh no, there was a run
touchdown
game.
Almost every game.
Oh, there was a run game.
There was
Second
not.
half,
So you said like
off.
inconsistency.
The line in terms of adjusted line yards were negative, which means they didn't generate any push to run the ball.
That's a new one. I haven't heard
We just have to
adjusted line
get. We
yards.
just have to get analytical anytime we
Don't know
talk
what that
football.
means.
No, but I know the offense line was
okay.
bad. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
know
say
Oh
that.
no, it was
But
terrible.
I know ETN had a stretch where
But
he was
ETN
pretty
was
good.
OD.
Yeah.
I mean, the point of the stat is just saying that the offensive line created
Who throws
no
that together?
room
Warren
for
Sharp?
error.
Warren Sharp?
Nah, it's just some stats you could just look up on PFF too, with the offensive line adjusted stats. And PFF also ranks the units by run blocking and pass
they do,
blocking. But yeah, really, there was no push on the offensive line. I think that's evident whether it's looking at a stat or watching a film. There's just no push. And Trevor Lawrence got no help from his offensive line with a run game or in pass protection. It is kind of concerning because
ETN was at 3.8 a carry. That's not good.
that's actually terrible. It's actually one of the worst in the league, actually.
Agreed.
He just got no help. He got no help at all. And I know the numbers aren't pretty. 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, but 9 of those touchdowns were dropped. And in success rate in 2023, he was 8th in success rate. He was the only thing holding his offense afloat the entire year. And I just can't knock a guy for being such a big floor raiser like that. I feel like he gets a lot of unwanted criticism, or he gets a lot of harsh criticism when it's really not his fault.
Trevor Lawrence would probably be 11 for me. He would be my honorable mention. I think the next 3 for me would be Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, probably Tua there. Tua, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy. That's kind of the conversation we enter. But at 10, I have Dak Prescott. Sensational season. He's had multiple years of, shout out to Kellen Moore, different play callers. He's had some guys go in and out of there, both on the offensive line, at the receiver room, at the running back room. And every year, if he's healthy, he's going to give you a great statistical season. The issue with Dak Prescott is his 2 biggest games of the year, Buffalo, San Francisco, and actually 3, the Packers as well. I don't care what the Packers numbers tell you. He was not good in that game. He left a lot to be disappointed. So that's kind of the next step for Dak if he wants to enter. There's probably a cutoff after. It's still close between him and my 9 guy, but 8-7. He wants to get that next tier of quarterback. He has to start winning those games. But I would have Dak at 10. He's still a top 10 quarterback to me.
That's fine. At number 10, I have my brother in Christ, Tua Tagovailoa. No argument needed.
You're so funny. For me at 10, this is where I stick Trevor Lawrence. I do think he's a top 10 quarterback. I do think he has the talent in the world. I did base this off a little. I did like the back 2 years, like I did last year and the year before, because like you mentioned, Joe Burrow, he missed a lot of the season, and then with the rookies or like Jordan Love, who just fully played last year, kind of got to put a little bit more weight into that with a little bit projection to that. So my criteria is a little bit of everything, But I do think Trevor Lawrence is the top 10 talent. I think he's the 10th best quarterback. I think the situation was a little muddy, but he's shown he could still make the throws. His pinpoint accuracy was there. Just he had a couple drops. The offensive line wasn't perfect, but there was a stretch in the year where he was for sure a sound quarterback. And then we can't forget the year before where he was great in the back end of the regular season, had the playoff game where he was shit in the first half, great in the second half. So for me, Lawrence is 10.
Number 9 for me is Dak Prescott. It's about the big games with him. If you look at his stats against teams that are 500 or better, they look good, but then you boggle it down to, well, how many of these teams that were 500 had good defenses? Very little of them. He shit the bed against the Bills, shit the bed against the 49ers, didn't play well against the Packers. There's just too many moments to speak of within the season that Dak Prescott was not at his best. And even though I think he did exceptional things last year, and he also, the situation with him is not the best. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, you really don't have much receiving talent that can consistently get open, and the running game took a huge dip last year. Dak Prescott, I feel like there's a ceiling with him. The ceiling is a great quarterback, but you know what you're going to get, and I think that's fine at 9.
And 9, this is where I have Jalen Hurts. If I look at these last 2 years, there's just too many big games. I don't feel so bad about it. Too many big time performances he's had. Even this last season, you have a sour taste in your mouth with how it ended because down the stretch, they were legitimately one of the worst teams in football. And it's crazy to say that with all the talent they've had. But for the first 11, 12 weeks, Jalen Hurts was playing at top 3, top 5, at worst top 7, top 8 level. It was really just the second half of the season, and it was weird because it almost felt like they had their bye week. I feel like they had their bye towards the second half of the year. Yeah, they had their bye in. Okay, now I can't find it. Ignore me. Excuse me. Yes, they had their bye in week 10. After week 10, they had the big wins against Kansas City and Buffalo, and then right after that, they play San Francisco and they get blown out. Then they get blown out against Dallas. Then they lose on the road to Seattle in that Monday night game. And it all goes downhill from there. You beat the Giants once, then lose your next 3. The ending to last season was terrible, but I don't want to forget how great of a quarterback Jalen Hurts has been. So he'd be number 9 for me.
Okay, number 9 for me is going to be Mr. Dak Prescott. You guys already laid it out all on the table. Again, statistically, and you could argue this was Dak Prescott's best season. But unfortunately, he underwhelmed when you needed him most, losing against the Packers in his first playoff game. I mean, that there's obviously no excuse for that. You were the clear favorite. You were at home. You should have played a lot better than you did. But statistically, and like Joel already mentioned, situationally, he did as much as he could. And although you would have liked him to rise to the occasion in the playoffs, he still was an amazing quarterback and was deserving of an All-Pro nod.
Number 9, I got Jalen Hurts. I don't feel too bad about it because Dehls had him at 9. I do think the situation last year was okay, but could have been better. But I do think he could have helped the situation a little bit more. He started to become he started to become a little bit too turnover prone. I think he was a little bit banged up too, but him being hurt and not having that consistent run game in his bag really hurt him last year. Plus the offense just was funky and out of whack, but he still has that, one Super Bowl game that you can hold your hat on. Still had the great year that year. And he still had a solid year last year. It wasn't like a bad year objectively. It's just he had some moments where they were pretty bad, but he also had some big moments like the game against the Bills, in Philly. So that was the game against Dallas in Philly. So he has his moments. So for me, I'm sitting here with Jalen Hurts at 9.
Number 8 and 7 is pretty interchangeable to me. It's C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. That's my next 2. C.J. Stroud I have at 8. Jordan Love I have at 7. I feel like whenever the conversation is being had within these two, it's often brought to what's more impressive.
Is Jalen Hurts not a top 10 quarterback for you?
No, he's just outside. I think Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, they're better quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, what he did as a rookie, is more impressive than what Jordan Love did last year in his first year as a starter. But
is this anything new?
Jordan Love.
Oh, you didn't expect that? Or
what?
I'm saying that Hurts
is he top 3 for you?
Top 10? No, he's not.
Okay. Didn't you have him top 3 at some point?
Oh, when he was playing at a top 3 level?
Oh, and then what happened? You saw no football from Joe Burrow. You just put Jalen Hurts out of it?
What do you mean? Joe Burrow was playing.
Joe Burrow wasn't top 3 when you had Jalen Hurts at top 3.
I understand. He ranked him.
Joe Burrow got hurt, and then you saw no football from Joe Burrow.
What week
and then
did Joe
you
Burrow
had
get
Joe
hurt?
Burrow over Jalen Hurts.
What week did Joe Burrow get hurt?
Is Joe Burrow higher than Jalen Hurts?
He is.
Okay.
That's all. That's all. Okay. That's all I heard.
He is.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. When did that change happen?
After the 2023 season, this is the conversation, correct?
When did that change happen for you where you were like, oh, Joe Burrow's better than Jalen Hurts?
Again, when we saw how the season ended.
I lost Seattle.
You saw no football from Joe Burrow.
I saw that, it was cooked.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle was nuts. When was the moment that you said Hurts was better than Burrow? That's the better question.
Bills game?
Yeah, after the Bills game when he was fucking electric.
And mind you, Joe Burrow played no football after that, and then he
okay,
ranked
but also
Burrow
at the
ahead
same
of
time,
Hurts.
that's
Isn't
when
that wonky?
Hurts. No, that's an acknowledgement of Joe Burrow.
Well, you should have acknowledged him before that. He's been on that timing.
Okay, but so
have we not known what Joe Burrow's been?
Jalen Hurts was top 2 MVP the year before
Burrow's
that.
Been on that timing.
And Jalen Hurts at that point in time was the MVP.
You said top 3.
And he was he was top 3 at the quarterback position. He was the MVP.
How many games was he outplayed in that 10-1 stretch?
He wasn't.
He wasn't even the best quarterback in half of the games he played. Oh my Lord. During that win streak.
Oh my Lord.
He wasn't. He got outplayed. Jalen Hurts was not an exceptional elite quarterback in the first half of the season. He was not. C.J. Stroud, what he did was more impressive than J. Love. J. Love as a quarterback right now is just more mature. He's better pocket presence. He's less turnover prone, and he makes more big time throws.
No,
CJ has only like 5 interceptions though.
I know
the pocket presence of Love is nuts.
Jordan Love's turnover worthy percentage play percentage is lesser than CJ Stroud's. I think CJ's at like 2.7. Jordan Love's at 2.4. It's close. It's not a gap. It's definitely close. Jordan Love is just he doesn't take any sacks. He's really somebody that avoids negative plays, and that's why he's number 7 for me. Like I said, I think CJ, what he did was more impressive, but Jordan Love right now, he's just a better quarterback than him, and him carrying that offense last year with Green Bay was just really impressive.
This is where it's going to get juicy.
8 and 7, I have the same. I have Jordan Love at 8, CJ Stroud at 7. I think if you have it either way, Riv might have CJ Stroud in his top 3 by the sound of it. But I do the slight, if you have to nitpick between the two, the fact that you're doing it as a rookie, coming into a team that, I guess Deshaun Watson, but outside of that, maybe hasn't had the best luck in terms of developing quarterbacks over the years, and the way this franchise was kind of viewed just a couple of seasons ago post Deshaun Watson. They were in the dumps. They went through multiple coaching staffs, and CJ Stroud gets here year 1 and completely turns around the culture of the franchise. It's probably not fair to Jordan Love because you had Aaron Rodgers and you had Brett Favre, and there's such a foundation there. But again, if I had to nitpick, I would probably just put Stroud over him just for that.
At number 8, I do have CJ Stroud. Obviously, he was exceptional last year for a rookie. The fact that he took care of the football in his rookie season as well as he did is what overly impresses me more than anything else. Forget about the touch on his deep ball. Forget about the fact that he has a playoff win. The fact that he could be so understanding of how to process a field this young, this early into a career. That's what impresses me the most. And now we're talking about the Texans as one of the best teams in the league. That always starts when you get your franchise quarterback. And I feel like this number is going to change. It could change at like 4 games into the next season. We could be talking about CJ Stroud as a top 5 quarterback depending on how he starts. But just coming into the season, understand he is a rookie. The sky is the limit for this kid. But after the 2023 season, this is where I currently have him.
I have Dak at 8. Dak, coming off an MVP season. It's just that the thing with Dak is, and I think you said it earlier, Dak has these moments in the regular season where he's, especially like last year, he was big time. He's coming in hot, stretch of the season. It's just that playoff game when you was home, you had an opportunity. It was him in the defense. Like, it was just the team in general did not play well, but I do think that, still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. For me, I do have him at 8. This is gonna get funny. Yeah. He's at 8.
What's your
7? We did A7.
My 7th is Jordan Love. This is where I slot Jordan Love in. His pocket presence is great. He's one of the best at that. His throwing ability, his accuracy. He is mature for sure. I do think I put CJ over him. And that's my next guy. CJ's at 6. I'll just throw that out there because of what he's done. I do think Jordan Love is the slight better player, but I think what CJ done was a little bit more impressive the way he did. And then just like you mentioned, they were down in the dumps. They just lost Deshaun. They traded Deshaun Watson, was having Davis Mills start at quarterback. You bring in CJ, and of course you bring in a couple more things. But just talking about CJ, you bring him in, he completely changed the culture. That's why I got him at 6.
So based on your list so far, somebody's getting snubbed, and it's Matthew Stafford.
No.
Matthew Stafford's in your top 5.
Yes.
So that means somebody's getting snubbed.
Where's Herbie?
No. Oh, wait.
Because you need Mahomes, Allen, Burrow,
Trevor's
Lamar,
at 10.
Herbert.
Hurts is at 9. Dak is at 8. Love is at 7. CJ's at 6.
I want to hear your top 5 now.
Oh, wait.
He said, "Oh wait, you forgot like Josh Allen."
Oh,
Because
no.
my 6 is Matthew Stafford, just outside the top 5.
I overcounted. Trevor Lawrence is not in my top 10.
Your number
He's
11.
11.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts is my top
You
10.
didn't, you didn't number them? You're like this guy.
I did the dash.
I have the letters. I have the letters still, but I just know
I did
the
the
order.
dash. I did the dash. That's what
But my 7 is Jalen Hurts. My number 7 is Jalen Hurts. I didn't get that off.
Oh,
You guys said
okay.
you did 8 and 7. My 7 is Jalen.
6, I also had Matthew Stafford.
6 is
Yes.
Matthew Stafford
6
for me
is
as well.
Matthew Stafford.
I feel like this is the perfect stopgap for the top 5, Matthew Stafford. He's not he has
I
a
thought
lot
about
of
it.
the elite traits,
Is it a conversation?
but I just feel like the
these top
mobility
5?
that he doesn't have the mobility of the top end guys.
This is comfortable top 5 for me.
I'm fine with it too. I'm just wanting to see what we're doing because Matthew Stafford, obviously we know what's up when he's healthy. He's
We're
unbelievable.
going to rattle off the 5.
Top 5.
Are we going to get upset at people's order of the top 5?
Well, listen, the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL is easy.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what order you have it in. It's
Perfect.
pretty easy.
I agree with that.
Mahomes is 1.
He is.
Allen, Lamar could be 2 or 3. Burrow's next, and is Herbert. I think those are the top 5 quarterbacks. They have to be in the top 5, regardless of the order. They have to be in the top 5.
I almost put CJ in. I wanted to be fair.
I have Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Lamar 3, Burrow 4, Herbert 5.
If anyone's surprised, I have Mahomes 1. I have Allen 2. I have Herbert 3. I have Burrow 4. I have Lamar.
Oh, you're back on the Herbert at 3 vibes.
Herbert at 3.
Correct.
I have Herbert at 5, Joe at 4, Lamar 3, Mahomes 2, Josh 1.
Mine is Josh Allen 1. Is
No,
crazy.
he's nice too. I was trolling.
Patrick Mahomes
Almost
is 1,
did.
Allen 2. Number 3 is Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson. I just feel like that playoff success matters. And also when he's been healthy, number 1 in quarterback passer rating. And number 5 is Justin Herbert. I think with Justin Herbert, I feel like he can be as high as number 2. He can go toe-to-toe with Allen. I just feel like he doesn't play with the freedom that Allen plays with, just the playmaker DNA that Allen has.
He's not as much as like a gunslinger.
And
like
Herbert
Josh.
also, I feel like, is just being limited with the team he has now.
If you are a Chargers fan, you would be, I'm sure that you are hoping and praying he gets back to that year 2 Herbert, where he was one of the league leaders in interceptions, but he also was one of the league leaders in yards and touchdowns. He was the most confident that we've seen him as a passer. But since then, I feel like it's more so, I don't know why Aaron Rodgers comes to mind, but he's a little bit too careful with the big plays and trying to just be a little bit too safe with the football, where I say it all the time. I'm not mad if you throw an interception. I saw Matthew Stafford lead the league in interceptions and go win a Super Bowl because he understands I can make any throw on a field. Sometimes I may cause a turnover. I mean, Josh Allen's the perfect example of this. But understanding that I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a reason, it's because of my right arm. You go out there and you should be trying to make every single throw on a football field. I feel like we haven't seen that these last couple of years, but understanding he has all of these abilities to be great, and I still believe that he is still a top 2 quarterback in the league, talent-wise for sure.
I think there's a good chance Justin Herbert after this season gets pushed out of the top 5. Just the way the Chargers are building their team right now. I don't think Herbert's going to go out there and throw for 4,500 yards or 4,300 yards and 30 to 35 touchdowns. And you're going to have guys like CJ Stroud and Jordan Love and all these other dudes who are going to win just as much, if not more, and then have insane highlight plays and have the numbers. And it's no slight to Justin Herbert. I believe in the Chargers front office and coaching staff and what they're building, but I do think it's going to take at the expense at some point to Justin Herbert and his numbers.
I think, let me say this. I understand where you're coming from. That's fine. But understanding their situation now, your thought process is valid. I do believe at 5 they get a wide receiver. And I think with all the conversations,
between that and a tackle.
No. If they go tackle
or a trade down,
it would be such a mistake. Understanding the first 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks, at least with what reports are saying right now. If I'm the Cardinals, I don't know why I would do that, but it's seeming as if that's what's going to happen with either Minnesota or us trading up to number 4. At number 5, you get the biggest gift we've seen in a long-ass time with Marvin. And if you're a Malik Neighbors guy, if you're a Roma dude, it does not matter. You're getting a dog at 5 with Justin Herbert. You've already done so much to try and bolster up this run game. I get it. You would probably want to, if you were in that mindset, Joe Alt would be the pick at 5. If Marvin is there, I know you would. I know you would.
Receiver.
If Marvin's there at 5 and you pass on him, you live up to all the expectations that everybody has of you as being a Chargers or understanding who you are as a Chargers organization. You continue to not be taken serious.
Justin Herbert's interesting. I feel like he really has a talent to be high on this list. He's top 5. I mean, that's still respect, but
Snapped.
The situation has really held him back a ton. That's really what it comes down to. Lamar Jackson is the playoffs. Joe Burrow is the health. He has to play this upcoming full season. And with Josh Allen at this point, I feel like there's nothing more that Josh Allen can do. And I know the interception numbers may be high for him, but I really think that maybe a quarter of those interceptions are actually bad ones. And I don't know when we're going to advance football discourse to having this talk, but I feel like we should start weighing sacks as much as interceptions and fumbles. I think there was a stat on it. 85% of sacks taken last season ended a drive. Sacks are drive killers. Just like interceptions and lost fumbles are drive killers, so are sacks. They are drive killers. And
I feel like it's dependent of situation, though.
There will always be players that are behind bad offensive lines that don't have good pocket presence. And I feel like it's easy to tell that. Like, Sam Howell, the offensive line wasn't good or generous to him, but a lot of his sacks and pressures were self-inflicted as well. And I know it's a huge contrast because, Sam Howell doesn't have the highs of Josh Allen, but there are quarterbacks that are within the top 15 that the reason why I don't have them in the top 10 is because they don't have great pocket presence like these guys. Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Stafford, Love, CJ, Dak, Lawrence, they don't take sacks. The two guys in the top 10 that take a lot of sacks in the top 5 is Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow's pressure to sack ratio has lowered. Lamar is still like near the top of the league. But those guys that are great quarterbacks that take a lot of sacks, it's very far and few between. And it's a big reason why I'm high on Anthony Richardson. I've seen a lot of Titans fans on a recent video
they were
say,
hating crazy.
Why do you have AR over Will Levis? Will Levis was better as a passer in college, and it's simple. Because Anthony Richardson doesn't take sacks. Will Levis is a sack-eating machine, one of the worst pressure-to-sack ratios, and those kill drives. Anthony Richardson, I don't think people understand this. Like, he's a historical non-sack taker, and that, I think, is going to soon become a big stat when evaluating quarterbacks, how they handle pressure within a pocket, because that matters a lot.
Don't look at Jaden Daniels' pressure-to-sack numbers. It's, oof. They have historical set list, and the group that he's in is there's not a single good quarterback in it.
And that's a big reason why I'm not really high on Jaden. I think Jaden would be a great pick in like the second or third round, but in the first round with a top 5 pick with somebody who you're gonna put him behind an offensive line that's not very good, it's gonna be a lot of drives that are stopped because of sacks. And I don't know. I feel like sacks or sacks taken, we should account that more into quarterback play, but for some reason right now, it's not really that accounted for.
I feel like the same. I'm sorry, Joel.
Jaden Daniels, one thing. He would have the highest career percentage of sacks on pressure dropbacks of any first-round quarterback in the last 5 years.
Phew. That's tough. But to your point, Joel, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't disagree strongly, but I just think the same way that we evaluate and understand Josh Allen in terms of the how bad an interception is compared to the total number of interceptions thrown, that's something that you just have to go out there and watch. Like we obviously do. I feel like the same thing has to be held for sacks where, yeah, offensive lines can also be very bad. But like a Justin Fields, his offensive line was not bad. He was just bad in the pocket. Our offensive line for Denver was not bad. Russell Wilson just holds on to the ball too long. I look at a situation like the Giants and think this offensive line is bad because it wasn't just Daniel. It was not just Tyrod, and it wasn't just the Jersey boy. All three of them got their licks. So that's why I say it's extremely situational where, yeah, one can be better than others. I mean, I feel like the main reason why Mahomes, one of the main reasons, of course, there's so many, but Mahomes is arguably the best pocket passer. I mean, has the best pocket presence of any quarterback ever. And I feel like that's what makes him so great because he never takes a sack. And if you get a sack against the Chiefs, you feel like it's one of those situations where Draymond Green just hit a three-pointer. You just feel like the game's going to go your way. It's that type of game-changing play when you get a sack on Mahomes, which is why I don't disagree with you, Joel. Avoiding sacks is a huge part of evaluating a great quarterback, and a lot of the great ones happen to be amazing at it too.
When you look at the bottom 15 quarterbacks in pressure-to-sack ratio in the NFL, number 1 is Bryce Young at 24.5%. That is a little bit tricky because it's how much of that is Bryce Young just has nowhere to go with the ball and he just opts to take a sack because he also had the most throwaways in the NFL as well. Number 2 was Zach Wilson. Number 3 was Howell. Number 4 was Ritter. Number 5 was Russ. Number 6 was O'Connell. So these are all pretty bad quarterbacks right here. Number 7 was Joe Burrow. Number 8, Baker. Number 9, Fields. Number 10, Lamar. Number 11, Tua. Number 12, Collar. 13, Mac Jones. 14, Lawrence. And 15, Dak. So really now we're starting to get into the better quarterbacks at it. But like Josh Allen and Mahomes, the ones that take the least amount of sacks, number 1 is Josh Allen. Number 2 is Mahomes.
Really? It's not Mahomes.
No, it's not Mahomes. This was in the regular season and postseason as well. Number 3 was Purdy. Number 4 was Love. And 5 was Goff.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was the top 5. And when you watch them play, it's hard to bring them down. Like, Brock Purdy, what he gets credit for is his ability to escape and play make. And that's because he doesn't take sacks. And that is the difference between the 49ers being a top offense with Jimmy G to them being the number 1 offense in EPA in NFL history the negative plays that you're not taking. So I feel like we have to definitely evaluate that more when it comes to quarterback play.
I'm with you.
How you feeling, Riv?
I feel good.
All right. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 368. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod and on TikTok and Instagram at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.